I don't see how I was the fastest seed in the race. 'Cause now I'm so slow, and I can't outrun the pain. And all those fucking years of being told that I was gifted, they've made me so indifferent to any task that comes in. And I think that it's probably improbable that in any other timeline I'm not still a dick.
Good evening, everybody. Well, afternoon. Fuck, we're early today. I fucking had to talk about this. Holy shit, what the fuck is going on? This is legitimately the weirdest outcome for this stuff that I could possibly fucking imagine. I'm fucking stunned. What the fuck is happening? Okay. So, I don't know where to begin. Well, I do obviously, because you can see the fucking thumbnail. I know where to begin, but there is so much lore. I was actually watching a fucking bearing video on this to like catch up on shit, and I was like, oh fuck, okay, like what have I missed in the like sort of year and a half that I've not really kept up with Rekieta? It turns out quite a fucking lot. Okay, so there's something like I saw in Bearing's video that I just want to use and elucidate from to begin with. But is that the right word? I don't know. We'll see. I'll show it to you and then you can be like, Becky, that's not what elucidate means. Oh, fucking no. But theorycraft from, maybe that's bad. But yeah, so what happened today and what we're going to go over is basically a load of Rekieta'S friends watching his arraignment, and it is the fucking, like, you know when you watch something and you're just like, holy fuck, this is a car crash. This is this is just like I'm watching a train career off the tracks. And and they just kept going. Why didn't they stop? At what point, like, you can see there's moments of them like leaving and like having moments of self-reflection as to what they're doing, and it's just so fucking bizarre. And that's not even getting to Rekieta himself in this fucking arraignment. Now I'm gonna show footage from this. Apparently, I don't know what the fucking rules are. I don't care. I'm not a lawyer. Do you know how, like, I'm not a lawyer and I'm not going to talk about legal stuff and give legal advice? What I will say is that people who are YouTube lawyers are fucking insane. Like, everything about this is fucking crazy. So, yes, I've cursed myself. I was like, oh, I'm on holiday. So, you know, if something interesting comes up, I guess I'll stream about it. And, you know, here we fucking are. Jesus fucking Christ. I want to also, like, let's talk about the Chrischan curse thing, because apparently, like, Chrischan I saw tweeted out that Chrischan tweeted out that a medallion got sent to iDubbbz as well. I'm convinced there is an actual curse now. If you put on a Chrischan medallion, you're fucked. You're actually fucked. The demons come, they possess you, and nothing is gonna save you. You're just fucked. Okay, so thank you for joining me in the slightly earlier time. Like the stream, subscribe, or dislike it, and call me a slur. I don't fucking care. Do the stuff. Okay, so first things first, we're just going to start with this because there was a clip going around that we've all seen, I assume, of Nick Rekieta biting his finger and doing something. Okay, now. What I hadn't seen is the bit before that, and Bearing shows it.
Right now.
Why would you do this? Why now?
So, I mean, is he...
Why would you do this? Why now? Now, the theory is the reason that he's looking down and saying, why would you do this? Why now? Is because he's talking to April because she is sucking his dick on while he's live. Like, or what? She doesn't realize he's live or something. That's the theory that is being proposed. Like, this is such a fucking mess. Now, I've also been sent a load of clips. So full disclosure, like, I was going to do a Rekieta lore tomorrow. Rekieta, like, breakdown stream, like, go through everything, like, put a docket together tomorrow. But then this happened, and I was like, okay, cool. So what will probably happen is I'll do this today, I'll take tomorrow off, and then I'll do something Sunday. And that's how we'll structure it. So, like, I can do, like, a bit more of a deep dive. That's the plan anyway. If that doesn't happen, I don't know. Fuck yourselves. I don't don't know. Okay, cool. So, right, we're gonna get into this stream now. Again, let's just talk about this fucking stream for a second, because this stream is fucking crazy, like actually insane. I live tweeted it out. I went through the entire thing, and I just want to share some of my thoughts and feelings. We'll come over the come to them as they pop up. But they just, like, people just randomly pop in, join. Hi, how you doing? Yes. Yeah, I know. Rekieta's losing his mind and dying, and like, but he's such a nice person, guys. He's so nice. So somebody tweeted out the fucking Zoom link to this fucking thing, and you'll see the effects of that. It's fucking chef's kiss. I think it's the largest audience Rekieta's had in like a year. Everything is a mess. It's fucking terrible. At one point. We'll get to it, but like, fuck, this is the most fun I've had on a Friday afternoon in fucking ages. So, to begin with, this stream is from a guy called MLS God of Law. He is a defense attorney, I believe. I have seen him before. I want to point out that he has gained like 600 subs, maybe 700. It like in the last 3 hours because of this fucking stream. And I just look, Rekieta, what's fascinating about this, obvious, I'm gonna make an obvious statement. You're gonna be like, yeah, Beckett, no fucking shit. No, go off, King. Say the obvious thing, retard. Rekieta popularized this content for sort of center-right, right-wing content creators. Lawyers coming on and talking and doing legal analysis live has made Rekieta famous. Rekieta was sat with like 100,000 people watching him during the Rekieta stuff, during the Johnny Depp stuff. Massive numbers, and a community much like the Twitch poll community formed around Destiny. The blood sports community seemed to form around like the Kumite, Warski, all that kind of shit. Same thing happened with Rekieta. You know, the lawyer community formed around him. Now people have come and gone from that, but this is so fucking weird. Because, like, of all the people, like, you know, we talk about as content creators, fucking, that's a cringe statement, but like if you get like content creators on a stream together, often what happens is people get bored and they talk shop. This happens in this stream, by the way. And one thing that's interesting about talking shop is content creators are terrible at dealing with their own shit, like particularly like commentary. Like you'll often find like commentary people get into a drama and have no fucking idea how to deal with it. It's like, this should be the thing you're fucking good at. You have watched everyone else's life implode, and this is exactly the same thing, but for legal content. Rekieta and like has spent his career being a lawyer, watching legal cases, and becoming famous off it. And here he is, fucking himself into the ground. It's unreal. Now, I don't know if Rekieta's going to represent himself in his trial. God, do you know what? Okay. This is very sad. Addiction is terrible. But also, if he does represent himself, that would be fucking crazy. That would be incredible to watch happen. But he represents himself in this. I think I mean, they say it's normal. I'm not a fucking lawyer. They are. But I don't know if that helps them with their decision-making process at all. Anyway, fuck. We'll just get into it. Is that enough time to let people fucking turn up, roll in, all that shit? Yeah, okay, cool. Right, let's get started. We'll get through the opening credits. And well, I didn't see the beginning bit of this. But we'll see what he's like. We'll see what God of Law's opinion as to why he would stream about somebody he is... I don't know, this is so fucked. Why would you do this?
Maybe not shocking, maybe not even sad at the end of the day, but news about Nick Rekieta.
Not only him representing himself, but also his wife, Kyla, and April. Yeah, so we'll get to that. Whether he's actually able to represent his wife in the criminal case seems to be up for debate. Again, I'm not a lawyer. I don't fucking know. But yeah, that seems like a clear conflict of fucking interest, doesn't it?
If you guys don't know who Nick Rekieta is, why are you even here? But Nick Rekieta is a YouTuber, LawTuber, some would say, the Pope of LawTube. He is
the Pope of LawTube. Oh, guys, fuck me. Do you think Chrischan's just sat there being like, yes, the merge is getting ever closer?
I discovered him through Viva Fry, a number of years ago.
What the fuck happened to Viva Fry? Do people remember Viva Fry? I used to watch a lot of law YouTube, by the way. I actually really liked this content. I thought it was really fascinating. But also, Viva Fry was another one who went like fucking crazy. He was like streaming out of his car, like he like became increasingly unhinged and right wing, and like he was like, the Canadian government is destroying us all. They're becoming an authoritarian dictatorship. Just like, dude, what's happened? What is happening? If convicted, Nick will face 25 to 30-year prison sentence. Okay, so yeah, like those are like the maximums, as far as I can tell. My understanding is this is like it would be unusual for him to get like fucked like that, but I imagine it's going to be very, very expensive if whatever happens. Thank you for the 5 sliggins, much appreciated. Very based 07 in chat. Thank you, buddy.
So, he had great coverage of the Rittenhouse case, of the Johnny Depp case. I should have put as seen on Rekieta right here. I've been on his channel a couple of times. And
yeah, you have. You all fucking have. He made all of you, and now you are picking at his corpse. Do you know, like, don't get me wrong, I'm a legitimate monster, okay? I make no bones about this. Like, the content I do and create is horrific in so many fucking ways. But these people, this is almost a special kind of ghoulish. Because, well, again, like, these are people who are like, it's so important that we're doing the right thing and educating people and informing people. So who wants to watch our former friend implode in a court case as his life dissolves? Does that seem like good content to you guys? Like and subscribe!
Unfortunately, he was arrested yesterday at some point, or at least he was booked into the county jail yesterday afternoon. And from what it appears from the records that we have, for possession, 5th degree possession of a Schedule 1, 2, 3, or 4, and controlled substance, I should say, and also in possession of a firearm while being in possession of a controlled substance. And so today,
Let's be clear about what the firearm is, by the way. It is... I fucking tweeted this. Hold on. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? It's here. So, AR with several magazines of loose... magazines and loose ammunition underneath the bed. Fucking what? Yeah, mate. Where are you putting the gun tonight? I put it under the bed. That way, it's close at hand when the government come. Now, the other thing I've seen is like we might have a look at some of the like reports. Take it with a pinch of salt because I haven't read. Well, I've glanced at them, so take this as a pinch of salt. But from what I hear, like the police had to break the door down. Like they couldn't get an answer. This, like, I mean. This is not like a little thing that's happened. It's not like... Jesus fucking Christ.
Still working on it, working on the technicalities of it. But we do have a Zoom link and access to the arraignment, which is supposed to be scheduled to start in about 13 minutes. So while we are waiting for that, I'll just take a moment to say hello, everybody, new and old. I see Irish. It says
Hi.
Iris, but it's Irish. Welcome.
Shut up.
Earlier today, I got a hold of...
So wait, fuck. I don't know, maybe you can get some advice from Rittenhouse on the gun charges. We'll have a nice reversal of roles. It'll be like a fucking... Someone said this was Rekieta jumping the shark, so does that mean like the reunion episode is next?
This document, which is an indictment. We're not...
Don't care. We might go into this in like the Sunday stream. Well, we probably will. I'll probably have to.
Hansen is the judge that's conducting the arraignment. And again, the arraignment is just to advise him of the charges against him, the nature of the charges, possible penalty, and set bond. Hey, Bronca, how you doing?
Hey, man. Whoop, let me try again. Let me get my screens correct.
So, we're joined by Andrew. That's very nice. It's nice to see people popping in, offering their legal advice and opinions. Sure, I'm sure there's no ulterior motives to that. I'm sure there is no ulterior motives. They're just here because this is an interesting case to comment on, and it's in the public interest that people fully understand the legal situation that's going on. No other reasons.
I don't know if you want me on. I actually don't. I don't have much of substance to say, to be honest with you.
I'm so glad you turned up then. Lawyers, everybody.
Did a very short little stream this morning about it, 5-10 minutes, and but I saw you were covering the arraignment, so I thought I would take a look at that.
Yeah, I just thought, well, what I try to do here is try to explain some of the legal processes. And what most people skip out on is the arraignment, which is actually kind of fairly important, especially for how the case is going to go forward. Everyone thinks he's going to be incarcerated for the weekend or longer, but he's going to have stringent bond requirements for sure. He's going to have drug testing, but I thought it would be important.
What was this? He's going to be in prison for at least 3 years. Again, not a lawyer, but if Rekieta does more time in prison for this than Chrischan did, somebody like I'm stealing this joke from somebody else on Twitter. Again, full disclosure. But if Rekieta does more time in prison for this than Chrischan did for fucking his mum, is that not fucking crazy? Is that not completely insane to you? Like. Jesus. Oh, God, the demons really are powerful.
And to see exactly the nature of the charges as they're laid out in court and what his bond might actually be.
Yeah, I mean, what's he going to do?
The chat's just like jail for 5 years, isn't it?
I guess we'll hear the bond conditions, as you say, and
yeah.
I mean, it'll be no drugs, no guns. It's the usual stuff.
Yeah, sometimes with the bond arguments, if the prosecutor is there, they will sometimes go through the alleged facts of the incident to establish the bond. You know, like I said, if there are some weird out there facts that we don't know about that might indicate a need for, say, a higher.
Yeah, weird out there facts that we don't know about. It's not like most of Rekieta'S life was streamed and A-logged to in great detail or anything. Fucking shit.
Bond. Or
Yeah,
some
if
different
the state
restrictions
wants to
for
play
the-
hardball, then we're going to hear that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So that's one of the other reasons why I wanted to try to do this, and it wasn't going to be like televised. So now there's a record of it and things like that. So we can see if they do allege weird facts, and maybe we can get a little.
So again, like we'll get to it, but it's interesting that the view here is, well, it needs to be televised and used as a record. Well, I'm glad you think that, God of Law. Because yes, I am using you as a record. So I don't know whether you're saying that as a cover. I don't know whether that's honest. I don't know, but you're a fucking lawyer. So here we are. Here we are. This is for the purpose of criticism and analysis. I require your stream. Thank you, buddy.
Bit of a glimpse into or
Fuck.
just a look into what exactly happened. No guns, no drugs, no kids. I don't know about the no kids part. That's probably not going to be for this court's purview. That would be a separate matter. That would be handled under like Department of Human Services or Child
CPS,
Protective Services.
So I'm gonna do one thing that I don't normally do. I as most people know, I don't really police my chat. I don't fucking care. You're all adults, or you should be anyway. Frankly, what I will say is I don't want to talk. I don't really want to see talk and conversation about Rekieta'S, like, kids. If that's cool, keep it to yourself. I just think that is so fucking depressing that let's not do that. If that's cool, that would be great. Secondly, just do people like remember like fucking Baked Alaska's court appearance for the Jan 6 stuff? Because that was like a phone call recorded cool thing. And I remember Flam streaming it. And it's just like that was fucking insane. Like Baked Alaska went in and was like, yeah, I plead guilty, Your Honor. And the judge is like, well, are you actually guilty? And he was like, well, no, but my lawyers told me to. And the judge was like, okay, we should go talk to them then, shouldn't you? Because I'm not going to let you plead guilty if you're not guilty. It was a fucking, like, all this shit is so fucking insane. And it's just, I don't know. The 2020s, guys. Holy fuck. It's never been this good.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know anything about that, but I'm aware that this was a mandatory reporting event that came in. That's why this all happened. Yeah. So I assume CPS or
what I will say is we're going to skip ahead a little bit, I think. But like what I will say is, yeah, may get into it on Sunday, but the mandatory reporting thing is kind of fucking interesting here because the woman Rekieta was arrested with, April, is married to this other dude who used to be friends with Rekieta, who is like now pretty fucking angry. So what did I see on Twitter? Give me a second. Let me just go to my bookmarks. I think I bookmarked it. I've got no idea if this is true. But this is from Nobody Likes Onions. I'm just gonna read this out because I thought it was interesting. So, I've been told Aaron contacted a friend after talking to Kyla, that's Rekieta'S wife, and spilled some beans. This friend was obligated to report by law, which happened on May 16th. May 17th, Aaron tells April to come home. May 21st, Aaron screams for help for his friend to stop, begs April to go to her parents now. May 22nd, Aaron dances with powdered sugar on his nose, making fun of the friend he's worried about, talks to April's parents, again tells April and Kyla to get out of there. May 23 in the morning hours, police ram down the Rekieta'S door. May 26th, he announces whoever did this is a hero and braver than anyone watching and thinking this is entertainment or something from which to derive profit. You tell me what's going on. So, like, there seems to be a lot of shit going on in the background, which is kind of fucking bizarre. But the other thing that's kind of being pointed at is April's been released. April was just like let go, and that either means that she was a guest at the house. So these are the two theories I've heard. She was a guest at the house, so the police are just like, well, it's not your fucking house. Fuck off. Jog on. Or April is highly cooperative and like against the Rekieta'S, and so they're just like, yeah, fucking cool. You work with us, we don't charge you with anything. That kind of shit. I'm just giving you the theory craft. I'm not staking claim to anything either side, okay?
Whatever the Minnesota version.
May 26th. Well, it's not the 26th. Yeah, I don't know. Fucking know. What was it? May 24th. There we go. Sorry.
Version of CPS has been activated, and all that usual stuff has happened.
All these people have sat on streams with Rekieta while he has drunk himself into the fucking ground. I don't know if you can do this. If you watch somebody and you sit consistently with somebody and being like, oh my god, like you're destroying yourself, while essentially just continuing to allow that to continue, like generally, I don't know, you distance yourself a little bit more, right? Fucking there's gonna be a lot of this.
Worst nightmare scenario for Nick. Well, I mean, we've gone through the possible penalties, right? It's 5 years, as Andrew corrected me. It's 5 years prison time. That's the worst. I mean, right? 5 years in prison. That seems bad. The likelihood of that is
5 years in prison. That seems bad. Thank you from the professional lawyer. Christ.
slim to none. Again, my prediction is he will have to forfeit the guns, and the gun charge will be dismissed, and then he will plead guilty to the drug possession charge with treatment and probation. That's my prediction. And it could be up to like 5 years probation, depending, since this is a felony. If it was like a misdemeanor, I would say maybe 1 year. But
Okay. Something, again, not a lawyer, I don't know, but yes, the like, it's not just that you have drugs and guns in the house, it is the other people who are in that house. I think that's why he'll be treated slightly more seriously. I don't know. Maybe not. I've got no fucking idea. But this seems optimistic. I gotta be honest.
let's see. Remain
Rekieta bros, how did we fucking get here? Christ.
So, Bronco, if you want to talk while I figure this out.
Sure. Yeah, it's there's really no fighting these kinds of cases because they're possession cases, and if the drugs were there, the drugs were there. It's, you know, unless it turns out to be baby powder or something in a test, but that's not going to happen here. So the question is just, you know, what are the normal practices in this court for these kinds of drug violations? And I'm not familiar with the Minnesota courts and how they deal with drug cases. Drug cases are not my area of expertise. So it could be a wide range of things. It could be routinely plea down to a misdemeanor for a first offense.
These guys are talking about Nick like it's his funeral.
Kind of,
But yeah.
drug monitoring for some period of time. It could be that this prosecutor wants to run for governor and has a hard on for these kinds of cases, drugs, guns, kids in the house kind of cases. I don't know. I think we'll get a glimpse into that with the arraignment. I mean, if the state's already decided they want to go hard, we'll hear it here because they'll push for a severe.
God, yeah. I hope that the judge presiding over Rekieta'S case doesn't have like some previous dealings with him that may bias them. That's foreshadowing, by the way. Fucking hell.
Severe bond and severe conditions.
All right, let me see if that worked. Yeah, I might just log. I don't want to log out. It's on this particular screen that they have up, which is like this welcome window sort of thing.
Fucking God.
I don't know how to actually change my name. They want me to change it to Observer. And I think I did it right.
Okay.
But
Okay, boys. Shut the fuck up.
Video if you are not a participant in.
Okay, we're gonna get to the call. This is a fucking experience, okay? For anyone who has not watched this yet, this is a fucking experience.
So this is the incident report. I was zooming in. So this is the incident report, and it says some sort they want.
If you are not a actually here for the hearing, can you please disable your video if you are not a participant in any of the hearings this morning?
I can't imagine sitting there as a judge and being like, "Hey guys, let's do a Zoom call for this like famous YouTuber," and we'll just open it. I can't picture how that would go wrong at all. Fucking hell.
Disable videos. Thank you.
No, I don't want that.
Nick looks like a sad little bitch right now.
just immediately, just like, yeah, cool, this is my opportunity. Like, Nick looks like a fat little bitch. I got fucking. That's the point. We just like, oh, okay, cool. This is what it's gonna be. Fantastic.
Excuse me, sir. Can you please mute yourself?
Man.
Man. Guys, is this not a hint that maybe this is a bad idea? Maybe this. God.
There we go. Now I was able to modify myself. Let me see if I can make this window bigger. Doesn't look like he's oh no, he is. Okay. I was gonna say the door behind him made it look like he was in his home, but the concrete walls would indicate otherwise. The cinder block.
What? Yeah, like shocking that you've come to that conclusion that he was not in his home, and it's at an arraignment. Guys, you're liars.
Walls. Let me see if I can get a. Let's see, gallery view. I don't know if that's any better or not.
The court might change as they start picking people.
Yeah. He is definitely in jail attire.
No shit.
So while we're waiting, as I stated on my stream earlier today, my only real concern is for Nick and for his kids, and
my book that you should buy. Thanks, Andrew.
And that's largely going to be up to Nick.
Yep. Let's see. Pin. Hang on a second. Oh, there we go. Let me rearrange my screen here. There we go. All right.
That is the face of a man who knows he is on YouTube currently. Like Rekieta'S not dumb. Like, actually, he's fucked, but he's not dumb. He's like, yep. My new streaming setup feels a little bit different. Fucking hell.
Yeah, it is. It's definitely going to be up to how Nick handles this going forward. There's a game to play here. There's a system to play into.
What do you mean there's a game to play and a system to play into? Rekieta has sat on stream recently. He's in some sort of civil case. I don't know much about it, but apparently the guy he's in a civil case with, he's in a civil case for slander or defamation or something, and he's calling the dude a pedophile and also attacking the judge, which again is foreshadowing. So there's a game to play, there's a system to play into. Rekieta needs to be very careful about what he says here now that he's been caught with, tons of drugs and guns. Like, come on.
At this point.
Kill niggers, behead niggers, roundhouse kick a nigger.
Jesus fuck Christ, forgot about that one.
But yeah, it depends on how Nick plays into the system. And he can definitely play it the right way, and he knows how to how to work the system. So
This particular, I mean,
Yeah, Montegraph, there we go.
these, these criminal circumstances are frankly the least of my concerns. I mean, whatever, I think he'll have a reasonable outcome here unless he really screws that up. But I'm thinking about the rest of his life.
well, that's true. He again, this is an opportunity for him.
This is okay. Listen, so everyone who joins this call has a thing. Everyone who joins the thing, you're gonna see it play out. It's fucking magical. It's like they're trying to brand themselves, and I'll list them as they join. Andrew is here as, you know, I'm the serious voice of things. It's, you know, a really serious situation. I hope Nick's okay, but, you know, let's look at the legality of this, and we'll be the steady pair of hands. You know, it's very sad, which is his whole thing, which maybe, you know, you should take some time to reflect on how you got here, but I don't fucking know. I'm just a dude. But God of Law is a treasure, because God of Law's thing is this is the beginning of the comeback. The beginning of the Nick Rekieta rising from the ashes like a phoenix story. Motherfucker, Rekieta is facing serious, like, felony and, like, high misdemeanor charges and shit. And you're talking about him like it's a fucking Rocky movie. Boys, what are you on? What is going on?
We've seen him on the streams. There's been rumors of drug problems.
There's been rumors of drug problems. I don't know who these fucking... Can you imagine being represented by any of these motherfuckers? These are some of the least observant human beings I've ever fucking seen. And they're lawyers! How are you gonna fucking, like, represent somebody? Yes, Your Honor, I do think that my client may have been on drugs. Meanwhile, the client's like, there's like tons of footage from years of the client like doing tons of drugs. Yeah, I don't know if it's conclusive though. It seems more like a fucking rumor. Everyone else worked this shit out like a year ago, and you guys are like fucking like, oh no, but maybe it's come on.
It seemed to be somewhat more credible now, right? And so this is an opportunity
somewhat
for him.
Somewhat more. Fuck me.
When I say play the system, you're not playing the system. You're taking advantage of the system, right? If you use this as an opportunity to get clean, he can come. This could be one of the greatest comeback stories. You know,
this could be one of the greatest comeback stories, yes. Nick shouldn't view prison as a punishment, more a chance to improve himself and come back as a better content creator. Are you people fucking listening to yourselves?
It should be.
out there.
Good morning, everyone. We're going to go on the record. Before we do, a couple rules this morning, giving the amount of observers. First, you are to turn off your device so you are muted, and turn off your video camera. Second of all, there have been requests to record this proceeding. Those requests are denied. The rules, general rules of practice prohibit any recording other than the official record of the judicial branch, which is recorded by a certified court reporter. I imagine that transcripts.
I just want to be real fucking clear. Apparently God of Law got an email getting permission to do this, and I think I'm fine because I'm not watching a record as a court. I'm watching a record of his stream, which he's got permission for. I'm just saying, if fucking down the road, because I did think about it. Okay, but also I'm not a fucking lawyer. I fucking love this timeline.
Can be available. That's under General Rule of Practice 42 or 4.02, Subdivision 5 at Prin 5. I need to tell everyone that a violation of that rule could lead to contempt proceedings. We are on the record in 34 CR 24.
For the record, I have an email.
And
Just so we're clear, Vito's in the chat saying Nick is innocent. Jesus Christ. Oh, fucking hell.
Madam Clerk,
What a
if you could
timeline.
disable that the buzzing or bell noise each time someone joins us, court would appreciate that. This is the state of Minnesota versus Nicholas Robert.
How long ago did this take place? 3 hours ago. I've never started putting a thumbnail together so fucking quickly.
Rekieta, am I saying that correctly? You told me before.
Yes, sir, Rekieta.
I have your date of birth is December 16, 1981.
Yes, sir.
Currently reside at 12291. Okay. Your appearance today is based on 3 counts to a complaint order for detention. The record should reflect that Alex Kornahachi appears for the state of Minnesota. Mr. Rekieta, you are self-representing yourself at this point?
Yes, sir.
What's the old saying? A man who represents himself is a fool for a lawyer. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Okay. Count 1 is second-degree possession, 25 grams or more of cocaine or methamphetamine. This is in violation of Minnesota Statute 152.022, subdivision 2, print A, print 1. The maximum sentence for that count is 25 years in prison and/or a $500,000 fine. Count 2 is possession of ammunition or any firearm with the user of controlled substances. This is a gross misdemeanor, so the maximum sentence is 364 days in the Candioi County Jail and/or a $3,000 fine. Count 3, endangerment of a child when present with a sale or possession of a controlled substance. Again, a gross misdemeanor. Maximum
Do all your coke out, Nick, and kill yourself, you stupid motherfucker.
Okay, for anyone wondering, yes, that was a random person from the gallery standing up and being like, hey, self-terminate. You fucking what? Imagine if you're the judge, you're just like, Jesus Christ, it's gonna be one of those days, isn't it? Speak of Fry, he just uploaded. Interesting. Interesting. I'm surprised he's still alive, frankly. Fuck, we might have a look at him later.
I'm going to warn everyone again, this is a court proceeding. If you were in a courtroom with me, the deputies would remove you. So any
Judge,
violation of that will be removed. Ms. Block?
Judge, I just disabled people the ability to unmute themselves, so I will work to unmute people as they need to speak to the court this morning.
All right, thank you. Aside from Mr. Rekieta and Mr. Kornahachi, no one needs to at this point.
People just like, I can
Lastly, I
fix
think
him.
I was saying
Hi,
that
Betsy, by the way.
count 3, gross misdemeanor, has a maximum sentence of 364 days and/or a $3,000 fine. Mr. Rekieta, you understand what you've been charged with, and second question, the maximum sentences associated with each count.
Of course he understands, Your Honor. He's a famous YouTube lawyer. It's Jesus Christ.
All right. Now, I don't mean to insult your intelligence, given you are an attorney, but it's important that I know that you understand your rights here. First of all, you are presumed to be not guilty of these charges. It is the state, not you, that has to prove what has been alleged in the complaint.
Hey, second coolest Ginger.
Doubt. You have a right to trial. Trial
Cecil's the
by
best. I
jury.
love Cecil.
All members of the jury would have to agree that the state had met its burden of proof beyond a reasonable doubt before you could be convicted. You have a right to counsel.
He has the right to cancel, Your Honor. Can Rekieta have his chat? I'm going to be represented by these sort of like 19,000 random people in my chat. They're going to help me, Your Honor. Do you mind if I live stream this? The content will be incredible. Are you drinking, sir, while we're in... No, Your Honor. This is brown water. That's what you're talking about.
You have a right to represent yourself, of course.
Jesus Christ.
If there's a trial, you could give your side of the story and testify, but you also have the right to remain silent. Indeed, you don't have to prove anything, so you don't have to say anything. If you remain silent, the judge
My
can't
lawyer
make a
in chat
comment
name is
about that.
Peter.
Prosecutor can't make a comment about that, nor can the jury take that into consideration. You have a right to confront, challenge, or cross-examine anyone who testifies against your interest. You have a right to call witnesses and the power of subpoena. You have a right to all of the state's discovery before trial, and including exculpatory information and evidence. And at the end of the day, if you think the court made some mistakes or a jury made some mistakes, you have a right to appeal. Any questions about those rights as I've explained them?
No, Your Honor.
This is a Rule 5 hearing. Sometimes we call it a bail hearing. We'll set this for a Rule 8 hearing. Under the rules, you have the right to have that hearing within 14 days of today's hearing, but you could waive that as well, given your right to seek counsel if you so choose. Do you want this scheduled within 14 days, Rule 8?
No, Your Honor, I'd like to waive that. We can combine it into a contested omnibus hearing. That would work.
All right, so we could, for today's purposes, combine Rule 5, Rule 8?
Yes, sir.
All right. And before you ask for a speedy, you want to hear what the state is requesting as far as release conditions?
Thank you for the $5, Stefan. Nick is playing Ace Attorney on hard mode. Jesus Christ. Should I tell you the first time I ever saw a Nick Rekieta thing? It wasn't even seeing Nick. It was seeing Metica discuss doing a Warhammer stream with Rekieta. That's the first time I ever saw this motherfucker. It's just so weird.
Yes, I'd like to hear what the state is requesting.
I didn't say it, but you also have the right to have me read the complaint today.
No, I'll waive it, right, sir.
All right, very well. Mr. Kornhachi, what is the state requesting as far as release conditions?
Yes, Your Honor. The state is requesting $50,000 unconditional. In the alternative, we would agree to RPR with standard drug conditions, which would include no use, random testing, no use and possession of firearms, contact probation as directed, don't leave the...
On the alternative, okay, so does that mean he can do one or the others? Oh, one or the other? Anyway, like, fucking 50K! Fuck. I hope that Do you think he ever sat there and was like, these super chats are one day gonna fund my legal defense? As like, I joke about, like, if I ever become, like, popular, I'll turn into, like, an insane narcissist. And I joke about that, but, like, holy shit, like, YouTube fucks you up, boys and girls.
the state without permission from the court, remain law-abiding, keep in contact with probation, and other standard conditions.
He already paid? Oh, okay. That doesn't
Mr.
surprise
Rekieta,
me.
Any objection to those conditions?
I object to the $50,000 bail. I think it's unduly burdensome and in violation of the 8th Amendment.
All right, what about the conditions?
Release conditions sound.
So the lawyers discussed this. Like, Rekieta has options. He can just pay, like, again, we'll see that his wife later, it's like 20K for both of them. Sorry, 10K for both of them. It's 10%. Go to a bonds loan thing, and then you pay 10%. They pay the rest. That's what was suggested. If not, Rekieta might just have $100,000 lying around. Like, the dude made a fucking killing. He was watched by hundreds of thousands of people at the same time, donating to him. Yeah, it would not surprise me. And also is a lawyer. So yeah, I would imagine Rekieta actually probably does have that money kicking around, actually.
Fine.
All right, the court will set unconditionally amount of $50,000, cash or bond. Conditionally, you'll be released on your own personal recognizance. In all instances, you need to be law-abiding and show up for all your court appearances. Conditions are as follows: abstain from the use of alcohol or any mood-altering chemicals not prescribed by your physician. That will be subject to random testing. So the court will order that you meet with probation upon your release, sign
Hey,
your
ombudsman.
agreement, and cooperate
Okay.
fully.
I don't know.
You're
I'm not
to
American or a
possess,
lawyer, which I'm
any
going to keep
weapons,
saying.
firearms of any nature, or be in the presence of anyone with a firearm or dangerous weapon, and do not leave the state of Minnesota without prior approval of the court. Any questions about those release conditions?
Yes, Your Honor, did you say 50 or 15,000?
50,000,
Thank
50.
you, Your Honor.
Okay, let me ask this. Do you still want a speedy omnibus, or can it be scheduled in normal course?
You rescheduled normal course, Your Honor.
Very well. Madam Clerk, do we have a date for that?
I'm sorry, Judge, I'm just going to interrupt. This is Katie Block, the court administrator. Do you want this next hearing to be in person or a remote?
In person.
Thank you for the clarification.
I think so. When this happened, I was like, "That's interesting." But reflecting on it, I reckon the judge saw the amount of people who joined this and was like, "Yeah, we're not doing this remote again. You must be fucking kidding me! Like, you're doing this in person. I don't know who you are, Mr. Nick Rekieta, but like, this is fucking chaos. You can fuck right off, mate. You can come here." Now, I don't know whether this stuff's going to be like, I don't know whether the revolution's going to be televised, but I would be very surprised if there's not some very, very up-to-date reporting from a lawyer YouTube. You know, the thing that Nick Rekieta basically created.
Mr. Rekieta, you said contested, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so yes, in person.
Beckett is
I'm
just
sorry,
hating
Anna,
because
just
the
to
Gerald
verify,
Brooks
timelines
trial
are
didn't
waived?
sell well. Yeah.
Yes.
And Madam Clerk, just so the court is aware, Kristen Pierce is handling this case going forward.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Time for legal video. Jesus Christ.
So while we're waiting for the date, $50,000 bond, cash or surety, which means he can
And the
pay.
matter has been assigned with Judge Fisher.
Now, Judge Fisher, I didn't know this, but that's interesting, because that's the same judge that Rekieta's got a civil case with. Now, I don't know, that will probably be recused, surely, because, like, Rekieta's shit talked her on stream. He's like drunkenly, like, badmouthed this judge publicly. Lawyer, by the way. Fuck. Do you think when he heard that, like, Rekieta's heart just went, fuck. Oh, how the turntables. What is this? I feel like I'm being fucking pranked. That's wild.
I'm looking at Tuesday, August 20th at 2:45.
Good for the state.
Judge
Without
Fisher,
having a calendar, sounds great.
Very well. Any other business we can conduct?
Now,
Yes,
on behalf of this,
Oh.
apologies. Go ahead.
Your Honor, I have requested to see two of my clients and have been forbidden from doing so. I would like to see them before their arraignment.
he's going to represent his
I'm not
wife.
understanding your request. Can you repeat?
Can you imagine being... I mean, it really is like a fucking comedy show. You're sat there in fucking prison fatigues, being like, hey, yeah, can I see my client? It's literally like Better Call Saul. It's fucking insanity. Like, he doesn't know that April's been released either. Fucking... I don't know what his thought process must have been when he heard that, but I imagine it was abject fucking horror.
Repeat it.
As two of my clients are set for arraignment today, I have requested to see them. They have both requested to speak to their attorney, who is me, and they have been prevented from doing so up to this point. I was wondering if we could get an order to allow me to at least speak to my clients before they come into their first appearance.
Gornahachi?
Your Honor, I'm not sure if the court is aware. April Multi has been released.
Okay.
Nick's face. That's That comes like he's like what? Oh, that's a surprise. Fuck, buddy. Shit.
And then I believe the other person who's referring to is his wife Kayla. Is it Rekieta? Rekieta. I'll leave it to the court's discretion. They are charged as co-defendants. I believe she would have to waive any conflict, etc. But I don't take a position.
And to be frank, I don't know if that's a waivable conflict at this point, given they are co-defendants. But there's no request from the state that obviously they are married, so there's no request that they be separated. True?
Correct.
Well, it's an issue of denying counsel to Ms. Rekieta, so I will grant the request and leave that as an issue for Judge Fisher. At least to get us through the arraignment this morning.
Thank you, Your
Mr.
Honor.
Jailer, are you able to make accommodations? Mr. Rekieta, how much time do you need?
Not long, just about 15 minutes, Your Honor.
Can the jail accommodate that?
That'd be up to the jail administrator, Your Honor.
I'm sorry?
I would have to talk with the jail administrator.
All right. If they have any difficulties with that, the jail administrator, since I'll be in these proceedings.
Hold on. Look at the tweet I posted in NR Discord general chat. Fucking big if true. Okay.
Proceedings should contact Chief Judge Beckman.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. All right. Since Ms. Rekieta is not available, at least for the next 15 minutes, do we want to take the next matter?
Oh yeah, it's tough. Yeah, it is. It's the same judge. It's the same judge for his civil case. Again, it's from what I can see, it's unlikely they'll be able to preside because again, Nick has talked shit about them on stream.
Fine with the state, Your Honor.
Do you think they were sat there like they were in some like judge's common room with this judge and being like, yeah, can you get me on that case? I know I won't be able to preside over it, but I just want to terrify the dude. I just want to fuck with him.
Which case?
The interpreter case?
Sure.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, so we're going to pull down the screen. They're going to handle some other cases. I'll leave it going and see if Nick's wife for arraignment goes for a bit. Hopefully you guys can't hear all the dinging and stuff. I'll still hear it. But he's got $50,000 cash or surety bond, which typically would be he can go to a bonding agent and pay about 10%, and then they'll post the rest of it. And
So... Fuck. They're sat there. They've just watched the person who has founded their type of content. These are, again, professional fucking lawyers. And they're like, okay, guys, why don't we just go over what we've just seen? Why don't we just break that down for the chat and, really dissect what's just happened. I think that's a useful educational thing that could happen. This is fucking lunacy. Like, I've got a friend, who's a lawyer, and I asked them once whether they use Twitter and things. They're like, I never touch social media. I never talk about legal stuff because it is like the fastest way to discredit yourself. And lawyers who like get involved in political stuff, like he was like, there's a stigma around that, at least like in his opinion, because it's just like, it's kind of crazy, and I get it. Like I'm pretty open with what my employment is, not who my employer is. But I don't talk about my sector because I'm like, okay, I could have personal takes, or I could say something incorrectly while I'm tired, or I've been talking for like 4 fucking hours, or some shit. And it's just like, do you know what? Keep them separate. You don't need to broadcast that shit. These guys are sat here as a fucking choice and being like, nah, cool, we're lawyers, so I guess we'll make content out of it. Like, It's a hellscape. It's a fucking hellscape.
He'll get out. And so long as he appears,
win or loss chat. Yeah, what do we think? How did Nikki do? My tinfoil hat theory: there is no mandatory reporter. The judge was watching Rekieta due to the civil case, saw what went down, told the PD to go get him. That's an interesting one. I don't know. I don't know. There are enough people who know that what Rekieta's life situation is, while also watching this all go down. It's possible somebody randomly was like, maybe we should call somebody. Thank you for the 2, Stefan. Nit's case is now the Dark Souls of Ace Attorney. True, yeah, very fucking accurate.
there won't be any issue. Otherwise, I think Dog is going to come after him. Bronca, thoughts on Nick representing his co-defendant?
Well, that's what I would want to do if I were him. He wants a chance to talk to his wife before she goes in for arraignment. He also wanted to talk to this April person, obviously.
That's what I want to do. Yeah, no, I'd absolutely want to represent person, so we can get our fucking story straight. Make sure we're both on the same page. You could see Andrew just being like, yeah, this is fucking bad. Like, April's not there, that's all.
It's an odd circumstance. She's already released, which is a little alarming, frankly.
Yeah, that the third is already released. Yeah.
Because that suggests maybe she's being cooperative to the detriment of Nick and his wife. Who knows? It's speculation on my part, but that would be consistent with her just being.
I don't know about you guys, but do you ever get this thing like in the professional world? For those of you who are in sort of like career vocational kind of things, and you get to this point in your career where you're like, I don't really want to speculate on this thing because I don't have enough data, and then it could be taken out of context later, or maybe I'll be really wrong and I'll just look fucking stupid. These people are on a live stream in front of thousands of people. When this was live, it was like, at this point it was 1.5k. They know this is going to be watched, and they start theory crafting about April. They start theory crafting about a whole host of fucking shit. And then they're like, yeah, but we do this for the good reasons, the right reasons. I think content might have broken these people. Like, this is... Why would you do this?
Kicked loose. Clearly, Nick and his wife are not being kicked loose. I was a little confused about the conditions for release. It almost sounded like in the alternative to me, like 50K with no conditions or own recognizance with the conditions.
Yeah, I was too. I'm not familiar with the phrasing of the 50,000 unconditional. I don't really know what that means out of Minnesota because we don't really have that terminology here. It would be 50,000 cash or surety, or 10% is a third option in Michigan, which sounds like it's not happening here. But then
then the judge goes RPR with a whole series of conditions, but RPR is normally released personal recognizance.
Yeah, which would be like an additional promise to appear.
Normally, would it be additional or alternative?
Yeah, I don't know. Oh my God, the judge is so loud in my ear. I don't want to log out though.
I mean, it doesn't really matter if Nick needs to come up with $5,000. I'm sure he can do that.
Yeah, he's just going to have to get a hold of somebody. The interesting thing though is representing a co-defendant in a case, because first of all, co-defendants, like we saw in James and Jennifer Crumbly, there could be a lot of conflicts in there. And one of the big issues with them is that they were represented by the same law firm, even though they were different attorneys. And not everyone's case is perfectly aligned. So there could be a conflict. And now we have the attorney who's also a co-defendant. I don't know if that would be allowed in Michigan. Like the judge said, I don't know if that's a waivable conflict. It's very odd. I've never really...
There is... Do you know what? If you were somebody living with Rekieta and you were like, my husband is an alcoholic drug addict, would your response be, I want them to represent me in court? Would you want that? Like, fucking I wouldn't. Like, The person who's being charged with the same crimes as me is going to represent me. You guys are talking about conflict of interests rather than the fact of what an obviously fucking stupid idea that is. Watching this, I felt like I was taking crazy pills. I was like, this is the most content brain thing. Yeah, I can represent my wife. It'll be fine, guys. I can't see that going wrong at all. Like, if Rekieta gets released, is he gonna go on stream and chat to these people? Yeah, I know that you covered my arraignment. I know that you broadcast that live and that it was able to be broadcast to everyone on Twitter and thrown out there. It's cool though. Don't worry. Come on my stream. We'll get something together. I'll have a coffee and we can make some fucking. Make some content. Jesus Christ.
Really heard of that. I'd have to do some digging.
I don't see how they can't be in conflict, right? I mean, if either of them had independent defense counsel, one of the arguments
this is Andrew's I'll be the professional thing.
Defense counsel would want to be able to make is that stuff's not mine. It belongs to the other person.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my God, this is going to be really annoying because now, so this other case, I'll just show it to you real quick. I'm not going to, but he needs an interpreter. And so there's like 5 people talking to my ear right now. But what's else is interesting is you saw the arrest was on count 1 and count 2. We knew that. Although it looks like
the charge has changed. It's changed.
The charge has changed.
It's no longer
count 1 is now 25 years.
Degree. Yep.
Yeah.
So what happened there probably is, they walk in, they find some stuff. They charge on what they think is, well, at the very least, we have this, and count 5 would have been more than a quarter gram, and it's a quarter gram is nothing, folks.
I can't believe they're doing
anything there. It's almost certainly more than a quarter gram. So they say we know for sure we have over a quarter gram, so let's make the initial charge on 5th degree possession, and then when they get the stuff back to the police station and they weigh it, they get a weight, and they say, well, the weight's sufficient to qualify as 2nd degree, which obviously is substantially more serious.
Hey chat, let me just explain to you why your favorite YouTuber is going to prison for a significant period of time. He's also our friend. Fucking hell.
Charged from a 5 max to a 25 max.
Yeah, and then they added the count 3 for child endangerment, which I assumed was coming if this stemmed from an issue with the children being around. Kind of saw that coming. So the child endangerment, however, it's a
wait. Deadwind Dork made a video on Brian. Interesting.
Presumably, the children weren't injured in any way; they were just around it while that was going on.
And that's partly to facilitate all the CPS stuff they want to do, right? So any CPS hearings, they can now say, well, there's a charge of child endangerment here.
Right. Exactly. So. He said 10 or 15 minutes. This is for everyone who's coming in late. Nick's arraignment just took place. He was issued $50,000 bond with, of course, we saw coming, no guns, no drug use, no further criminal charges, testing.
I want to jump ahead.
Let's go. In Minnesota, possession of a firearm, legal or otherwise, lowers the limit of 2nd degree. Huh. Interesting.
I got to be honest. I think it hardly matters. I mean,
I did, Sonny. I did see the post.
Oh no, this says 25 grams. I thought it was 0.25 grams.
I
25
wrote down,
grams is quite a lot.
I wrote down 25 grams. That's what I wrote down.
Oh, that's quite a lot. So I misread.
Yeah, that's a lot. I mean, it's the amount that
this is so insane. This is actually so insane.
Maybe it would be considered even like possession with.
Is this real?
Yeah,
25.
Hey,
25.
Okay, this is uncivil law. So I said that I'd give you everyone's thing as they entered. Uncivil law's thing is, I'm really sad. This is a crying shame. It's terrible. Nick's my friend. I care about him. I just want him to be okay. I am, however, going to come on a stream talking about him rather than doing anything privately, and that's, it's fine. It is the content. Now, for anyone who's sat there going, Beckett, you're talking a lot about the fact that these guys are covering their friend. Don't you do this? Doesn't when something comes up, don't you cover it as a commentator or whatever? Yeah, of course. But also, I'm self-admittedly a fucking monster. I'm not pretending here. these people, like, again, it's like the Twitch poll thing of like putting yourself forward as like, oh, you know, we're doing the good moral thing here, but hey, let's look at this insane drama. This is like, it's such a weird clash of ethics in some regards that you're like, yeah, this is the criminal. This is like our friend, the like founder of our sector, in legal trouble. It's fucking actually insane. And they all come on, and like these moments of self-reflection are incredible. But yes, this is going to be his thing. We're all very sad. I'm here to be friendly to Rekieta.
A lot.
How much is 25 grams?
So
Kurt?
just recreation, just from my Andrew Branca's long ago history, many decades ago, folks. I mean, just going out for a Friday night, if you were a recreational cocaine user, you'd bring at least the standard.
Beckett, what the fuck? How do you know what they do privately? Okay, what I mean is, this is like, when something happens like this that is content and treated as content, this is what you do. You're like, your friends stream and you're like, oh, I should get in on that stream. This is like obvious networking and everything. I should like, oh, I should jump on and talk about that, and then like I'll be able to do a stream, and that's like keeps me in the loop. Generally speaking, if you really don't want to deal with something, and that's this, I've seen this happen with certain dramas. Like actually, this happened with the Tipster thing. When Tipster's mod came out and started to release personal information about Tipster, I know quite a lot of content creators who talk a lot about Tipster was like, no, we're not touching this. We're not touching this. It's got too much information in. People were aware of the video, and the first person I think to cover it was Chud, because everyone else who saw it was like, no, we're not dealing with it. That's like, this actually does happen. So this is why it's kind of wild to watch these people do it to somebody who they've worked so closely with, when it's not just a random nothing drama. This is Nick could go to prison for significant periods of time. It's very specific to this.
Standard would be a gram, and that would be expected to get you through the evening. So 25 grams would be a lot. It'd be 25 days worth.
Depends on the drama, nerd. If it was private,
cocaine or meth,
and if it was like to do with his family stuff, probably not.
Involved, but I'm just saying my own experiences around other people who were perhaps using cocaine.
Yeah, it was an alternative. It was like cocaine or meth. What's in? Yeah, it's Johnny Depp jar levels of 25 grams. I don't.
Yeah, it felt unethical to cover it, Bestie. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it was at least 25 grams, right? Because it's with.
Yeah, like you'll know. I did a stream on that with Beavers, but I did it when all of it had sort of like come out anyway. And it was like, it was all out there, so, you know, it changed the impact of it, and there was enough distance from it. But yeah, like right when it came, nah, it was too weird. And yeah, they posted it in Chud's Discord. They obviously wanted the attention for it. Yeah, there are some things you look at and you're like, I've said this before. If there's like a serious like sexual assault thing, I probably don't want to touch it because it's not the sort of content I feel comfortable doing. Most people have that line. The other thing with this group, and you're going to see this with other people coming on, they've got like this really high ethical stuff. Like one particular person who's going to join is Steve. Steve will not shut the fuck up about talking about God and morals and addiction and your inner demons. And it's fucking, again, it's wild. He's just like, oh yeah, this is such a weird ethical position to be in. Yeah, you're the one putting yourself in it, motherfucker.
And some sort of ban threshold, right? So
Right.
It could be a little bit, it could be more than that, as long as it's at least 25 grams. So an ounce sounds plausible.
Kurt, what are your thoughts on Nick representing as a co-defendant representing his wife?
Well, I share the judge's concerns on the potential conflicts of interest. I think it's fine for the purposes of arraignment, which makes sense. So he gets to be her attorney for the next 15 minutes to give her like just the basic advice. Seems okay to me. But yeah, there's a potential conflict of interest because they're both implicated in the same crimes and they might have defenses that are adverse to each other. So that's potentially problematic.
I don't see how they wouldn't.
Let's see. Nick wasn't selling drugs. Well, he's not being charged with distribution or selling or attempted to sell. He's being charged with possession. So I don't think they're making the allegation that he was attempting to sell or was selling it. If you go further down on the statute, there's the usage part of the possession. Uncivil thoughts on April being released?
I have no particular thoughts because I don't have enough information to.
That is the smartest thing that anyone on this entire stream said. I'm gonna be honest with you. I've got no thoughts. I don't fucking know. It was so easy.
Understand the situation, so I can't adjudicate sort of in my head whether that's a fair or some sort of unfair disposition relative to them. I don't know.
When police arrest suspects, they then take it to the prosecutor's office, and the prosecutor is the one who decides whether or not to issue charges. So the police arrest 3, and they bring all 3 incident reports to the prosecutor, and the prosecutor says, well, we have enough on these 2 people, but we don't have enough on this 3rd person, so we're going to let it go. That's very typical. Or it could even be, the one person being arrested, the prosecutor says, it's not enough. Good try, but I'm not going to bring the charges. So so she's released. But just because she's released and not charged now doesn't mean she can't be charged later as well.
Also, what exactly does released mean? It's in terms of whether she was put on some sort of bond, bail, or other circumstance.
I don't dislike uncivil law, but he is clearly the person who is actually, you can tell he's actually uncomfortable with this, like it from the moment he joins. Again, I don't know if anyone's like, for those of you who've been in like internet drama before, occasionally you'll see a stream on yourself and like going over it, and generally there's like people fall into 2 camps, maybe 3. There's the people who will sort of chill in chat and occasionally like interject with something. Occasionally they'll fight with chat. There are people who will just lurk and watch from the sidelines, or like not engage with it at all and just be like, I don't fucking care. And there are people who are like, let me on the stream. Let me on the stream. I want to give my take. Let me on the stream. Why won't you add me to the stream? And very much so with kind of like dramas, the joining the stream choice can be very often the worst fucking choice you make, because you open yourself up to like probably being at a vulnerable period for like trying to give a take, defend yourself. You're at the mercy of an entire chat that may actually quite dislike you, but also you're obviously stressed, and that's like the worst time to be trying to defend yourself. It's why often the smartest thing to do is give yourself some fucking space. And yeah, it's also why people who don't have a platform who come to streamers and go, hey, can you talk about this thing for me? And I can come on and we can talk about it. Very often, if you do that to multiple fucking streamers and you're in everyone's fucking chats, people will fucking turn on you because it's fucking annoying.
Yes, what exactly does that mean?
Yeah, that's true as well. Like oftentimes in Michigan for a DUI, you don't have to go through the arraignment. They'll just keep you for a little bit, they'll release you.
Oh shit, really? The last time Uncivil went on to Rekieta'S, Nick made a racism joke, Uncivil got uncomfortable and called it racist. Nick then stopped and basically turned it around to accuse Uncivil of being racist. It's interesting you say that. So one of the things that Bearing brings up is that Rekieta'S basically trying to do this comedy routine, and he was trying to do this to Jim recently. Let's watch a little bit of that, because I'm just digging through stuff, and some of this is fascinating.
He's a brand of mayo. It's just a shit joke from a rambling drunk.
Save me.
Oh wait, it's not that one. It's this one.
Let's have a good time. Why is it so hard? You're like, but I'm in St. Louis Park. You're not. I know. This is a joke. I'm in St. Louis Park. That's where all the Jews
Maybe
are.
not.
It's just a shit joke.
I should timestamp shit. Where the fuck is it? Is it this one?
The humor here.
I'm like, Jim, why are you so
Oh
scared?
yeah, here we go.
I have COPD of the vagina or whatever. And you just want to, like, you just don't want to die from Governor Tim Walz. Jim, I will protect you. I will put my mouth, buttocks, whatever it is, over your fragile, sensitive vagina. I'll save you from that.
I will put my...
Like, Rekieta'S gone. He's actually lost his fucking mind. Where's the first one, actually? I'm doing this in reverse, which is terrible. Pro content creator. Pro streamer.
petting your roses or whatever.
Fucking hell.
Do you have flowers? I don't know. Where you live doesn't beget flowers. Petting your whatever your perennials are. In your perineum. Like, oh God, Jim. I just want you to live through this. Will you please have an enlarged prostate, but then get over it? And you're like, no, Nick, I can't. COVID has got me. I called government at first. I told them that COVID was going to kill millions of people. And then it did. And I'm like, Jim, the elderly aren't people. Neither are blacks. And you're like, no, but that's who they killed. So it killed old people and black people. I'm like, well, there aren't old black people, so those are white people.
See, what the fuck is he saying?
You're just like, what the fuck is going on? I hadn't checked in. Nick has been on my list of things to check in with for like 2-3 months now, and I hadn't done it, and it was a mistake. I should have been checking it because holy fuck.
Then you get a citation in the mail that says show up, you're being charged. So it could be something like that. Who knows?
Also, can I just comment on how absolutely insane it was that some person apparently decided it was a good idea to call into a live court proceeding and basically asked Nick to self-harm? I was like, holy shit.
You know, there's a woman, an elderly woman that ran into...
Thank you, Uncivil Law. Hey guys, it might be a bad idea to call into an actual criminal proceeding and start screaming the N-word. That might be a stupid fucking decision. Law YouTube, the more you fucking know.
With her vehicle, ran into a clubhouse and killed 3 children and like a mom last month. And she was arraigned via Zoom. And everybody, like the family, they were doing like a family birthday party. And so like everyone that was in attendance and then other family members were all in on Zoom, and they were all yelling at the defense attorney as he was addressing bond, and the judge wasn't shutting it down. And the defense attorney started then arguing back with the people on Zoom. It was the most insane thing I've ever seen. That was a local case here. I'd never seen that before. I imagine there would be some people shouting out because it's Rekieta, right? But
yeah, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't really anticipate it, but once it started, I was like, oh, of course this is happening. It's Rekieta. But who has the nerve to do that? Right?
that's fair endless.
Yeah, well, I mean, as the judge pointed out, it's a court proceeding, so strictly technically speaking, it's standing up in open court and like just shouting. I was like, that's direct contempt. So yeah, don't do that.
Yeah, exactly.
This feels like a satire. It feels like a fucking satire. Hey, there's this insanely fucking crazy thing that's happening, and you're talking about it like it's like like every day. You know, like those fucking like weird disaster movies where they're just like, yes, 2 million people were killed today in the nuclear bomb strikes, and now April with your emails. Like, fucking what?
City am I in? Well, I practice in Wayne and Oakland County primarily. The case I was referring to is in Monroe County, which is just south of me. But I'm in Ann Arbor, U of M. Woo. Go green. Yeah, but that's my area. Oh, good logic. All right, sir. Let me send you a message as well, Joe from Good Logic.
But I will also echo comments that Andrew made on an earlier video that Nick, to me personally, has been gracious and kind. I've known him for years. I've actually been to his house before and stayed with him.
I think this is the first one, but Nick is gracious and kind. Nick is such a good person. I love Nick. He's been incredible. I think somebody else refers to him as like an incredible human being, like a hero, and like we want that person back. I'm like, guys, and this is part of it. This is you guys know this guy really personally. You have watched this downfall happen, and whether you like it or not, you are sat there making content out of this. Now, again, self-admitted monster, but fucking guys, come on. Did you not know? You knew, like this whole thing of like, oh well, I guess the rumors have been substantiated now. You guys are the ones who know the motherfucker. What's going on?
And his family for a couple days on one occasion. And I've known him for a couple of years. Ever since the Vic Mañana stuff, where we first got introduced. And so I've known him for quite a few years at this point. He's always been kind and gracious to me. So that's what I know for now. And all the judge told me was he's being charged with possession, but I don't know the circumstances of that. I don't know what evidence there is available for that or what defenses are available for that. I don't know his role in that. So, until I'm going to rely basically on what I know. And what I know is that he's been good to me. So I'm going with that for the moment.
Drex, if you want on, you got to hit me up on Twitter because I don't have your contact info. But Joe, you've got a link. And like I said at the beginning of the stream too, I was introduced to Nick through
Thank you for the 4 Cantaway. This is reminding me of the Lio Senate Wank Fest call. Fuck, I might do Lio updates at some point in the coming week. But yeah, there is a weirdness to this that is it's not just unique to those 2 cases. There's been lots of like weird little instances of stuff like this internally in communities. This is just the because I can't think of another case I can't think of another situation that's like this where you directly become the content, not just that you cover, that you have made popular. It's like a gaming streamer or somebody who criticizes games. It's like if Yahtzee made a game, or like Jim Sterling made a game and then turned into one of the insane like fucking devs that they've covered over the years, in the case of Jim Sterling, and then got like ripped apart by Sid Alpha. It's one of those situations where it's like there's a uniqueness to this, or somebody who like started commentary, like was like a core person for commentary. I suppose in some ways it mirrors Andy Warski's aim stream, where Warski had spent all this time making blood sports a thing, like bringing people on, talking about these incredible dramas, had popularized kind of like that live stream content, and then was being covered on live streams. Nick is so the person in a way that almost no one else is.
Viva Fry, and I didn't know that existed. And since I've been streaming, I've been on.
Yeah, I know Yahtzee's made games. I'm just trying to. Again, it's really hard to draw a comparison.
A couple of times, he's always been very nice, very courteous.
So like Yandere Dev
and things like that.
Not quite, because again,
everyone.
He's just known for the game,
right? And hopefully this will. I mean, there's been rumors about drug use. This is kind of going towards the confirmation that maybe there was drug use, and hopefully, if anything, this is the beginning of a great recovery story for him, right? A comeback story. So if there has been drug use, and it appears like there might have been,
this is the beginning, guys.
Then he needs the help, and hopefully, the system can help him a little bit.
Oh my god, so insane.
We're still waiting, by the way, just so we know, we have another arraignment. So I'm waiting for Mrs. Rackets to get on, and then we'll pull that back up again.
Yeah.
Rumors. Well, again, I'm not following him, right? I don't sit in on all of his live streams, so I'm just hearing things that are sort of like after the fact and on the side. But he's always been great to me, and he does good with YouTube, and hopefully he can get past this. Like I said, everyone out there, everyone listening right now, you have your demons. You know what you're about. You know the dark side, and hopefully you never have to experience it going public in a court proceeding because you were charged with something. But you all have them, and you all know what they are, and hopefully you can manage them without the need of the court system. But sometimes that's what the system is here for. And again, the drug courts now are very much geared towards sort of mental health and getting the people the help that they need.
Yeah, and I'm assuming, although I don't know, but
these guys need to actually stop with like the preaching weirdness of this. We've all got demons, guys. We all know that those dark things inside us are there. We've all got them. That's why this is normal. It's like, if you're again, it doesn't match up with what you're doing, does it? Like, that's fuck.
I would assume that Nick doesn't have any record, and so I would therefore assume that there's a possibility of some sort of diversion or deferment or other program that he might be eligible for. So assuming that that's available and he wants to go that way, that might provide him some sort of out.
To be fair, Rekieta does have demons. They're Chrischan's demons, and they are living inside of him.
You know, we'll see how it goes, I suppose.
Yeah. And again, I'll say my prediction again. What I predict is well, I don't know about with the child endangerment. The firearm charge is going to be dismissed with forfeiture of the firearms. He'll plead guilty to some sort of substance abuse, and it'll go on a deferment treatment program. And with the child endangerment, he's probably going to, family counseling, therapy, but he'll be placed on probation for that, for those two things. And the guns will be dismissed with a forfeiture of the firearms. That's my prediction.
So the initial charge, the 5th degree possession, was 0.25 gram is the threshold for 5th degree. So 0.25 is nothing, folks.
0.25 grams?
Yeah, 0.25.
That's a quarter of a paperclip.
For 5th degree. So basically, it's like a trace, almost a trace amount.
Yeah.
But the new charge, the 2nd degree, is the 25 gram, and that's a sizable amount of cocaine. That's
what's that statute?
That's like 7-8 balls of cocaine. That's a lot, or whatever the drug is. I don't know if they've actually specified the drug, but
that is.
So what often happens is the cops come in, they see some drug, they don't bother weighing.
Oh, wait, you're right. Yep.
So they're going to do the whole lawyer thing. Frankly, I personally don't care. That's not true, actually. Do you know what? That's not fucking true. I actually find lawyer YouTube interesting. If you find lawyer interesting, well, I fucking, do I even watch this shit much anymore? Not really. They're looking at statutes. They argue about it being the 2010 statute, and then they're like, it's not the up-to-date one. They're like, why is that one the court? Why is it that one on the court fucking website? Moving swiftly on.
Because they're done with the last one.
Yeah, so I don't think the gun aggravating factor here will be relevant, because I very much doubt that Nick was brandishing a gun in some kind of threatening way.
Are you allowed to Are you allowed to stream this under the court's orders?
You can't record it, the judge said, but he didn't say you couldn't.
I got an email. I submitted a.
Wait, Andrew, you can't record it, but he didn't say you couldn't stream it. Fucking what? So, again, this is what happened with the Baked Alaska one. I believe God of Law has permission to from an email to make this into his own record for some reason, because he's a lawyer. I don't fucking know. I'm just going on what he says of having an email. That said, when I've seen Flam stream the Baked Alaska call, he deleted the stream afterwards because he was like, well, I can't have a recording of it. That was my understanding.
A notice of media coverage.
Okay.
And I got an email back that says I can attend via remote Zoom hearing and gave me all the information.
Okay, fair enough.
I'm going with
Just
that.
double checking.
Yeah.
Looking out for you, bro.
Gosney wants a link.
Yeah, okay. He texted me too to get your attention.
I got a lot.
Now, Steve apparently wanted in. It was noted in the chat. They're sitting there saying, oh, he's texted, he wants in, he wants to talk to us. I don't know what people's opinions on Steve are. I personally have never seen Steve before. My opinions after this stream, and watching Steve on it, I'm gonna bury the lead slightly, is that Steve is a fucking monster. Steve is the sort of person, how you're like, I don't like this person, but I'd have a beer with them. Steve is the sort of person where I think I'd leave a bar if he turned up. I'd just be like, do you know what? No. Steve is an enabler. I completely fucking believe that. Steve is insufferable, actually. Fucking insufferable.
A lot of windows up. I'm just happy that I don't have. The other thing is that while you guys can't hear this because I haven't muted, they're all chirping in my ear. And so
Mm.
There we go. Hey, Steve, welcome.
Good to see you, Steve.
Hey, man. How's everybody going? Kurt, Andrew?
I'm doing good. Doing better than Nick is. $50,000 bond set, which seems
That's a
high to
lot.
me, but
It does seem like
it's
a lot.
25 grams. I don't.
Well,
No, is it
and I might,
appropriate for 25?
I might be able to add a little bit of insight. I'm not a Minnesota lawyer, obviously, but I do criminal stuff, and the amount is very concerning. I will say it puts it in a much more dangerous zone than, and we don't know the amounts. And Kurt got it right about the range. So what it is you get a threshold general possession amount between, say, like 0.1 or whatever to 10.
Listen, I'm gonna level with you. Like, I don't watch much Chud these days. I actually don't, I don't get much time to watch other streamers, which is something that a lot of like streamers say. Like, it's really hard to watch each other's content because it's busy. But like, there's a thing that Chud has said quite a few times, which is like, you'll have something going on, and then a random person will join the call, and they're like the worst fucking person. Like, I think the term Chud uses is glubshitto. A glubshitter also. My brain is not working today. And he's like, get that person off the call. They're not good for the content. They need to shut the fuck up and fuck off. Steve is like the law YouTube person of that. That's my takeaway from this, because I fucking cannot stand this guy.
10 grams or something.
Just
like
randomly
that.
derails it into what he wants to talk about.
You'll get a range, and so that'll be 1 degree of felony. And then the next range of felony is, say, 10 to 50. And then the next range is 50 to 150. And the levels ratchet up as you move up that weight chart. And
MLS, would you be so kind as to look up first degree so we can figure out what the threshold is there, so we understand the band?
Absolutely.
Right. So we're somewhere between 25 grams and above. And I think Andrew pointed out that what would happen is they would seize the possession, they'd seize the drugs, they would charge it as a certain level when they go back.
Shut up, Steve.
At which, all right. And boy, I'll tell you, we have endless problems in Florida explaining to our clients. They say, I wasn't selling, I was using, I'm just a user, I wasn't selling. But it gets grouped into a trafficking amount because the amount gets so great. So,
please shut up, Steve. Please.
Well, in Florida, we would call it a 3rd degree felony, a 5-year min-man to a 25-year min-man, or 25 possible. That to me.
The thing is, you've just said you're not a Minnesota lawyer. You just, again, like, it's like the conversation repeats every time a fucking lawyer joins. They're like, well, here's my take on, our friend and fellow content creator, possibly going to prison for a significant period. Here's what I think how the statute would be applied. Shut the fuck up.
Brings up the bottom, so it might be kind of a mandatory prison type charge. And like Andrew was saying, possession charges are pretty hard to fight. And when that amount is what it is, it gives the prosecutor a lot more leverage over the defendant. Now, the fact that if I assume there's no prior record here, that is a big helpful factor. I still think that your prediction, MLS, is good, but that extra amount is very dangerous for a client, for a defendant.
Now, take this for what it is, but this says up to 25 years in prison, up to $500,000 fine. Previous drug crime convictions and aggravated factors can also result in lengthier sentence, including 3-year mandatory minimum for previous drug felonies. So, assuming he doesn't have a previous, it looks like
why is he there?
A mandatory minimum.
Fucking because he wants in on the content. That's why. He's insufferable cunt.
Cocaine, methamphetamine, 25 grams.
Sorry, I'm trying to screw in first.
10 grams with use of firearm with aggravating factors. Now, use of firearm, and there's a lot of questions about the firearm. This is a very odd statute. When I read it, there's no Florida analog.
But it requires brandishing, displaying the gun in a threatening manner. I find it hard to believe that Nick did that. I expect what happened was they just found guns.
I find it hard to believe that Nick was brandishing a gun. Again, you don't know anything, motherfucker. I find it very hard to believe that. Yeah, I know, it seems very... You're lawyers! It is you are all well aware of how important, like, the facts are. You have covered content like, okay, let's talk about the Rittenhouse case for a second, and I swear I'm going somewhere with this. Rekieta and many of these people saw what happened with the Rittenhouse case and were like, wow, the way the media has reported this and talked about it is so wildly incorrect that it's presented a impression to the public that is tarnished the way Rittenhouse is seen. That's why these cases are important to talk about and why we need to really dig into them. And now you are sat here theory crafting on basically no fucking evidence for content. Fucking insanity.
In the house, like they found drugs in the house.
Right, but the way it's we don't have something similar in Florida. Are you familiar with this? Where if you're doing drugs and there's guns in the house possession, that's somehow an enhancement or an effect. We don't have.
It's an enhancement in Michigan for sure. So I always tell people who are legally carrying marijuana even to be careful with the firearms, because under federal law, it's still, if the state wants to enforce a federal law with the possession and you're in possession of the gun, they could in theory charge you with violating a federal law while in possession of a gun, even under state law. So I always tell people to be careful.
The way the statute reads here, it's more than brandishing. It's broader than that. So it literally reads, the person possesses on their person or within immediate reach, or uses, whether by brandishing, displaying in a threatening manner, a firearm. So, if you conceal carry, you got it on your belt and they catch you with the drugs, you got it on your person, right? If it's on the table next to you, it's within immediate reach. Or you're being very stupid and you're actually brandishing the firearm in a threatening way, then it would qualify.
Notice how in this statute, by the way, this is the 2023 version. It says semi-automatic military-style assault weapon.
Oh my God!
Whatever that means.
It with Minnesota. Can I also emphasize something?
They're cracking down on our gun laws. Isn't that right, chat? Fucking hell! Christ!
I heard Kurt saying when he first came on, and that is and then kind of add a little bit more personal, and that is that all my interactions have been very positive with the guy. He's been, he's helped me in a lot of ways. He's been very fun to be around, and I haven't seen anything. I haven't spent time at his house, but I went to dinner with him here in Tampa. We were in Miami.
I haven't seen anything crazy. It's.
I mean, all my interactions have been positive. But
I didn't notice his deteriorating state of being, or the fact that he was slowly turning into Skeletor from He-Man. I didn't notice any of that, guys. Now, again, because I haven't done it for Steve yet, what's Steve's thing that he's here to tell everyone about? Steve is here to tell everyone about the healing power of Christ. That's Steve's thing. He's here to share his emotional journey with us during this during a conversation about Rekieta'S arraignment. That's what Steve's here for. I'm so glad he's joined. God, what a fucking hellscape.
And I think Andrew said on his stream, which was excellent also, about addressing this, is that, we aren't defined by the worst of when we show our faces at our worst or our best, right? We're kind of a mix of those things. And we all have our bad moments and we have our good moments, right? So obviously this is a big bad moment and it's public, but we all have demons and weaknesses and it's within us. And of course, and I addressed this on MG Law last night a little bit, that AA is based on faith. And these type of
Jesus Christ.
we all have within us.
It's not the time, Steve.
The only thing that actually can help people out and defeat something that is bigger than you as an individual is faith. And even it doesn't necessarily need to be Christian faith, although that would be my advocated thing. I have a friend who's an atheist who went through AA and was able to craft a faith that allowed him to pull it up. But what it requires is a certain humility, a certain recognition that we as individuals.
Humility. That's a very interesting choice considering what Steve's also about to fucking say. God.
Are much weaker and much more flawed and we need something greater than us to pull us out. And the really scary thing, the thing that frightens me to death, because we went to dinner with Nick and his wife and it was pleasant and wonderful. I loved his wife, but the fact that the wife is tied up in this is a very, very bad portent. And that scares the hell out of me, because you want a support system around you that is anti the drug, right? Anti whatever the challenge. But if you have a dancing partner,
I'm seeing reports on X that it's Twitter. Let's just call it Twitter. Fuck it. That's Twitter. That the mandatory reporter was Rekieta'S pastor. Oh shit. Okay, look, there's going to be a lot of random things that are going to come in. Actually, fuck, we'll get to that. But yeah, you know what? Like, I will say this. Obviously, child safety is really important. I don't really blame anyone for looking at this and being like, oh, I don't know. Like, fuck. Like, you know, snitches get stitches and all that, but Jesus. Yeah. I mean, I showed the tweet earlier from Nobody Likes Onions, but if it's not like this weird malicious thing, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if a pastor was like, yeah, it's a mandatory reporter. He found something out. He was like, oh, okay, probably should talk about this.
partner.
I'm glad we have the same taste in YouTuber rabbit holes.
Very dangerous. So that fact concerns me greatly. But I will say the way out is through faith. That's the way you need to humble yourself before God. So, anyways, cheers to you guys.
Yeah.
Thanks, Steve. That was very insightful, you fucking asshole.
Right. And like I said earlier, everyone has that dark side. You all have your bad acts that probably nobody knows about, but
maybe they do.
hope it doesn't come out in public, because this could be you, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm still just waiting. We're still up on other arraignments, so we're just waiting for Mrs. Rekieta'S to finish consulting with her attorney, Nick. Steve, what are your thoughts on that? So Nick says he's representing his wife and their co-defendants. What are your thoughts on the conflict here?
Boy, I've got, well, I can see why co-defendants would want to talk outside the presence of a
in a privileged way too.
In a
no
privileged way.
It's great.
Yes. So so that's my first thought. And the fact that I really think it's a bad sign that this third person has been released, that indicates to me cooperation.
Yep.
Law enforcement. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I can't imagine that. I think that he is using.
He just looks so happy to be allowed to speak, doesn't he? Like, this is why I keep saying it's obviously he's like, oh no, I need to get on this stream. Steve's the third kind of person. Let me on to talk about it. This. Oh, guys, go to. You can't see it here, but very quickly, it is Steve, whatever the fuck his name is, .com is his sign in. He went on to, when he was signing to Streamlabs, not just who his name was like, that is my website. That is fucking, I don't know whether it's subconscious, I don't know whether it's intentional, but that says something about who Steve is as a fucking person.
That to and I'm just being honest, I don't know this, but he's using that in ability to communicate with his wife to get their stories straightened out before they bring in somebody. So they want to have a heart to heart and talk and get.
Well, I think it's clever. It's definitely clever. I don't know that it would be allowed to continue beyond this arraignment, for sure, but it's definitely clever of him. I don't know if I would have thought of that. Like, oh, I'm going to represent my co-defendant, so let me go talk to her.
Right.
I was a little bit surprised, maybe just personally, that he like waived his rights under various, like even for like reading of the charges. I mean, if it were me, I'd be so spiteful. I'm like, yeah, I don't care if it's a formality. We're doing it. We're doing this the hard way. You can read the charges. We're going to have the full hearing. I want everything. Give it all.
No, there's no benefit to having the charges.
He waived his speedy.
There's no benefit, guys. There's no benefit. Like, uncivil law is just like, yeah, just do it to spite people. Fucking shut up, Steve.
Speedy Rule 8 requirement too, which I get that. A lot of times we waive that. No
That's
problem.
just, you want to see the discovery. He'll post the bond. He'll be out. He'll have conditions. Like I said,
I think most of that was before he heard what the state was asking for release, right? So maybe he's not trying to poke the bear before he here's what they're going to put on the table in terms of him getting out.
Yeah, I agree. He knew people were watching, and that's probably why he waived it.
Fair point.
Even despite the spite.
Yeah, but the reading of the charges is nothing. I mean, all you do is you just read the information or the police report, the probable cause affidavit, which is already going to be public. So it's not like you aren't giving up anything. It's really a very much a formality. It's just almost a courtesy. You know, it annoys the judge if you ask for it to be read. So I don't.
Do you think Nick Rekieta is sat there just being like, please let there be a high profile murder, please let there be a high profile televised murder that goes to trial immediately, just so people aren't thinking about me, and we can have this quietly. Like, he's just desperate. He's just like, there must be like a fucking psychopath out there. Isn't this an election year?
I'm annoyed. I'm annoyed by being here. That's, you know what I'm saying. We can all be annoyed.
We can all be annoyed, right?
I'm gonna step away for a second. Andrew, there's a latecomer that had a question about him losing his license. If you wanted to go over that again.
I mean, I don't know how they do it in Minnesota. In Massachusetts, he would not permanently lose his license over something like this. Drug and alcohol problems are the most common things we see in the law profession. It's unbelievably common. He may get his license suspended, but assuming he can clean himself up, I would expect him to get his law license back. The only guaranteed way to lose your law license permanently that I've seen is to screw around with client money. If you do that, it goes away.
Although there is a level. I mean, you're right. Lawyers are exceptionally vulnerable to drugs, alcohol, depression, all sorts of wonderful sins.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to be very conscious of that as a lawyer to be aware of that. But because of that, the bars are generally quite favorable. But like you say, stealing money from your clients, that'll get you disbarred immediately. I mean, like, boom, right? But this drug and alcohol, I have a friend who had alcohol problems and got a DUI. They put him on a probationary type thing. Then he got another DUI while on the probation, and he got a suspension for like 20, 30 days, something like that. So, it does take a lot. Now, it depends on the severity of the charges. We're looking at this, and that could change. But, and I don't know Minnesota, obviously, but usually the bars are pretty understanding of lawyers because we are number one in drug and alcohol use of all the professions, for better or worse. So they actually, a lot of them have special programs set up for lawyers.
Well, lawyers and doctors, but doctors get prescriptions.
Yes. Well, dentists are usually our competitors, but I think that the dentistry has progressed to the point that kids don't curse them to death when they're drilling. That there's like alternative dentistry techniques, so it's fallen on the rankings, and lawyers are back to one.
I tried.
It's like, I hope he has a redemption on Jesus Christ. Are you good, buddy?
I tried to mute his address. I didn't quite get it, all of it, but
well, we gotta admit that.
Oh, here we go.
Okay.
As Mrs. Rekieta now. Fucking hell. Jesus Christ. I know it's not sarcasm, Gilbert. I'm well aware. Listen. While I think it is incredibly fucking cringy for God of War to sit there and be like, this is the beginning of the greatest comeback story of all time in cinemas 2037 or whenever Nick is fucking released. Like, that's incredibly fucking cringy. But yeah, like, sure, I don't want to see Rekieta die or anything. I just want to see him, like, repair his fucking life.
Hopefully, when they start speaking, hopefully you can hear it. I think I unmuted it.
All right, we are on the
Can you guys
record
hear?
in court file 34 CR 24 342. It's the state of Minnesota versus Kaylee Christine Rekieta. You are Ms. Rekieta?
Yes.
All right. We've had some trouble hearing everyone
Oh, she looks entirely fucking broken.
this morning. So if you could get a little closer to the microphone and speak a little louder. Your appearance today is based on a complaint order for detention with 3 counts. I have your date of birth is March 9.
I can't, like, you're mentioning Tipster.
All right.
Tipster is
The record
definitely
should
going to do
also
a fucking
reflect
stream
that
on
Alex
this.
Cornahachi appears
God.
for the state of Minnesota. Ms. Rekieta, your current address.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And
hopefully
you
they
also
got
get your
you
mail
this
there?
time.
No, sir. We have a PO box.
All right. What is the PO box to ensure that you get your mail?
PO box 97.
And
Sorry.
Mr. Rekieta lives there as well. He's also a co-defendant with you,
Yes, sir.
and he would get his mail there as well.
Yes, sir.
Count one is second degree possession of 25 grams or more of cocaine or methamphetamine. This has been charged out as a felony, so the maximum sentence is 25 years in prison and or a $500,000 fine. Offense date was May 23rd, 2024. Count two is possession of ammunition or a firearm by a user of a controlled substance in violation of Minnesota Statute 624.713 at subdivision 1. This is a gross misdemeanor, so the maximum sentence is 364 days and or a $3,000 fine. And then lastly, count three, neglect or endangerment of a child. Again, a gross misdemeanor.
25 grams is quite a lot, yeah.
364 days and or a $3,000 fine. First question is, do you understand what you've been charged with?
I understand, yes.
All right. And the maximum penalties associated with each offense.
Thank you for the 5, Ransom. I just want to point out Nick once made a video about Leo, and Leo has a response on his video, on his channel. Yeah, no, I am actually aware of that. It's on my it's on my Rekieta docket, actually. Sunday. I can't fucking wait.
Or each count.
Yes, sir.
All right. When someone has been accused of an offense such as this, it's important that you understand your rights. Starting point is that you are presumed to be not guilty.
World-renowned, yeah, no, like this is
the state has to prove your
hard
guilt,
shift,
and they have to do so with evidence beyond a reasonable doubt. 2, you're entitled to counsel, legal counsel, and if you can't afford it, an attorney.
So the last time somebody sent me this, where the fuck is it? This one.
The following announcement.
Yes. This is them all in a hot tub together.
All right.
This is Elisa Clips.
And we're live.
Hello.
Oh my god.
Oh, is that?
Hello, everybody.
It says 0 viewers.
Right, because we screwed up the first one, and now we're on this
there's
one.
a person there.
And now there's people. We are here with Vito and his lovely
His wife, Dick Masterson.
Hey, we can keep this off. I know. I've got.
No idea why Vito's in this lawyer's chat. We've been in God of Law's chat taking the piss. But no idea. It's really wild.
A compliment for Nick here. Phantom X says, "Whoa, Nick looking buff. Is it the angle or has he been hitting the gym?"
I have actually been hitting the gym.
Twice.
And Jim is tired of getting hit.
Jim is probably tired of you.
Oh,
that's true. But
Pinks everywhere. I guess we're swinging tonight. Maybe. I've put it on the table. They've rejected me.
look, guys. Here's the deal. There is no swinging tonight unless Nick and I get drunk enough and we decide our lips look too tasty.
It's just them.
Aaron's
We're
butthole
going to
is
watch.
mine.
You know,
How did we fucking end up here? I know bits of lore. Oh, guys, fuck. You know when you tune out from somebody and then you come back and you're just like, what the fuck? I did this with somebody recently, and I went back to their stream. I won't say who, but I was just like, bro, are you good? Oh, fucking, let's continue. I don't want to be here forever.
Attorney, the court would appoint one for you. 3, you're entitled to trial by jury if you so choose. If there's a trial, all members of the jury would have.
Have you heard the story titles this Aaron guy has threatened to drop? Yeah, I've heard bits and pieces of it. Yeah, there's that's an interest. The law goes deep, as Baring said.
Have to agree that the state had met its burden of proof beyond a
Jesus
reasonable
Christ.
doubt before you could be convicted. If there's a trial, you could give your side of the story if you wish, but you don't have to because you have a right to remain silent. Indeed, you don't have to prove anything, so you don't have to say anything. If you remain silent and don't testify, the judge and the prosecutor cannot make comments about that.
And I may not even
because
want.
it is,
True.
because it is your constitutional right, nor can the jury consider it. You have a right to confront, challenge, or cross-examine any witness who testifies against your interest. You have a right to call witnesses and the power of subpoena to force witnesses to come and testify on your behalf. You have a right to receive.
Thank you for the 10, whatever fucking currency that is, number. Rekieta, better than Lio, at least one of them isn't an ableist slur. Thanks, buddy.
All of the state's evidence and information, including exculpatory information before trial. And at the end of the day, if you think the judge or the jury made some mistakes, you have the right of appeal. Do you have any questions about those rights this morning?
No, my husband explained everything to me, Your Honor. He's smart lawyer, man. He is on YouTube. Like and subscribe.
No, I do not.
You have a right also to have me read the complaint to you. If you read it or you're able to read it, you can waive that right. Do you need for me to read it to you?
Not at this time, no.
Very well.
Yeah, I've seen that, Maya. Oh, shut it at the beginning.
To setting these hearings, tracking.
I think that's probably accurate.
Or would you want a separate hearing?
It's my opinion.
I think I would like.
I'm not a lawyer.
Very well. We will set those and track at the same time. You can change your mind if you'd like. This is sometimes called a bail hearing, and then you would come back for an arraignment. We combine those hearings for Mr. Rekieta. Do you want to do the same thing and then just set this for a contested omnibus? That's a yes?
Yes, please.
The Rekieta'S were so family-orientated and traditional. They came across as such good role models as far as being disciplined and having their house in order. Did the powder do all of this to them in 1 to 2 years? World-renowned. Okay, so from what I've heard, and again, I've had like, I've spent like, I did a little bit of prep because I was planning to cover this tomorrow. So from what I've heard from other people, the stress seems to have really got to Nick over time. Like it seems that like being watched by 100,000 people at once, you know, constantly being on show, all that shit seems to have had a really bad effect on them. As far as I'm aware, it was the whole cucking thing. Like the first time he got like real fucking pushback, it seemed to break him. And I had a look through his channel, and like just over the last year, he's deteriorated massively in viewership. But it seems like a lot of people who become lolcows, frankly. Like if you look at Cobra or Foodie, a lot of the people who like are like at the forefront of covering those people are people who used to be their fans and then turn into people who fucking hate them. You know, it's just it's a common enough thing, and Rekieta just has suffered that basically. Drunk lawyer got parasocial. Again, this sort of constant exposure, YouTubers going fucking crazy once they get like big. Tale as old as time.
You're nodding, but you're yes.
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Cornhachi, does the state have any release conditions?
Yes, sir. Yes, Your Honor. We would ask for the same conditions as Nicholas Rekieta, $50,000 unconditional, and the alternative RPR with standard conditions. If the court would like, I can repeat the conditions I had asked for.
You're going to have to. I threw it away.
He seems completely like there's almost no reaction.
No use of controlled substances or alcohol, random testing, no use or possession of firearms, contact probation as directed, don't leave the state without permission, remain law-abiding, and other standard conditions.
Ms. Rekieta, any objection?
No.
Very well. Court will order unconditionally amount of $50,000 cash or bond. Conditionally, you'll be releasing your own personal recognizance. But in all instances, you have to remain law-abiding and show up for your court appearances, and we'll give you that date shortly. It'll also be noted on this release order. You are to abstain from the use of alcohol or any mood-altering chemicals not prescribed by your physician. That will be subject to random testing, so I'll have you report to probation, sign their agreement, and cooperate fully, which means keeping in contact with the pretrial probation agent. You are not to possess any firearms, ammunition or dangerous weapons, and don't leave the state of Minnesota without prior approval of the court. Any questions about any of that?
No, sir. Understood.
Madam Clerk?
Your Honor, that is August 20th at 2:45.
All right. And that's all from the Candy. All right. Is that all from the Candiac County Jail?
That's all we have, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you.
Hey, thank you for the 20. Well, 1999. Fuck it. I'm having dyslexia now. This all started because Nick had the worst day of his life during the Depp trial. No disclosure on what happened, but it is 1, getting cucked by Kyla, 2, getting cut off by trust fund, 3, discovering a terminal illness. 1999. From Cantaway. Fuck me. You can tell my brain's going. I need this holiday. Thank you. That's much appreciated. Very base. But yeah, it seems that, again, so much of your life is on display, and occasionally you can have that one bad day, it seems, and then people fucking snap. Jesus Christ. I don't know, like, yeah, the cucking thing was so weird. I remember that unfolding, like sort of like at the back of my mind, where like Rekieta was like pushing back on all those fucking rumors, getting like shit on because he was like at that point seen as hyper traditionalist. So yeah, it does seem to have snapped him.
Thank you.
Candiac County Jail signing off.
Okay. So that is it. All right, so she got the same bond conditions. I'm still damn it.
Just so that people know.
Oh, okay. Thank you for the update, nerd. Aaron, April's soon-to-be ex-husband, tweeted her charges have dropped. Interesting. Cantaway, thank you for the 5. Nick grew to resent fatherhood marriage because it kept him from freaky smut and drugs. He admired Dick and Drexel for their lifestyles. One thing that's interesting about Rekieta is, again, everyone has this super, like, hyper traditionalist view of him, but Rekieta was always a nerd. Like, that's all, like, that was always the original sell of him, you know. He was like an internet nerd. Which is why it's kind of interesting to see him go this route. It's kind of strange when you've got someone like that, because it's not what you'd expect them to do. It's also not who you'd expect to blow up the way that they have. One thing that seems to be interesting as well with like the kind of meta connection is it's another one of people who are close to Jim or have good relationships with Jim and just go down the fucking locale rabbit hole. And I don't understand how this keeps happening. We keep talking about the Chrischan church, but Chrischan curse, but there is definitely a fucking Metica curse. It's fucking undeniable at this point.
Oh, that the bond conditions generally in Florida, I always have to condition that.
There were people yelling. I'm sorry, I was trying to get it. No, they stopped. Okay, damn it.
Bond conditions, generally it's 10%, the bond holders. So he'll put his house, like they'll sign their house. So 100,000 total, $10,000 cash secured by a house, the additional. So, but you know, the likelihood, the idea of bond is to get them to fly. I will say that's pretty high bond. In Florida, that would, even for this type of level, that's a very high bond in my experience.
How much was the bond?
Well, 50,000 each, so it's
50, right?
total.
Yeah, right.
So it would be a $10,000 cash they'd have to out of pocket that they don't get back. Goes to the bondsman. The bond then covers the additional. The bondsman will require security, usually like a mortgage on property or house or something, and then the bondsman secures their appearance at future hearings. That's a very high bond, I will say, but again, it's local practice, a lot of it.
So that's what I'm confused. Okay, so they asked for 50,000, or on the alternative, a PR.
I heard that,
and the judge ordered. It sounds like the judge ordered
like they gave
50,000.
both. It sounds
like they gave both. Yeah. Once you post your 50,000 bond and you're out, then you're on personal recognizances, and you have to, drug test and not use drugs. And
again, it's so fucking surreal.
Sounds like they got both.
What's going on
with this? Okay, I'll just say this has got to be a wake up call, because
this has got to be a wake up call. Come on, Steve, because so here's my thoughts. I think Steve is personally massively enjoying this, and I think Steve's like, yes, God does exist. God does exist, and he's brought me this gift.
If you test positive for drugs while out on bond, the bond can be revoked, and then you sit in jail awaiting your waiting some deal.
And Nick knows this. Nick's been practicing long enough. I don't care if he's done.
Everyone knows this. Everyone knows that if a court tells you, hey, don't do fucking drugs when you're out on bail, and you do drugs and get caught, you're going to have your bail revoked. You don't need to be a lawyer to know that. Fucking hell.
I'm a lawyer, not. He knows this.
But that's why drugs are very powerful things. And it's a setup.
Who's Steve?
Bond conditions.
This is Steve. I fucking hate Steve.
There's setup. I mean, that's a public defender talking. I'll be a prosecutor soon enough.
I always tell people this, when you're
though. I understand. I understand. I'm just saying it's a setup.
When you're on
it's a setup. It's a setup, guys. You know, it's a setup. They're setting him up because, you know, drugs are a powerful thing. You'll definitely do drugs again. You are a lawyer talking publicly on a stream to thousands of people. You are out of your fucking mind. Oh God, the need of these people to be like in with the popular crowd. Hey guys, I'm just one of the guys. Look at me. I'm a cool person on the internet. This motherfucker has reached his like 50s. How old is this guy? And he's trying to be cool on the internet. Fuck, kill me.
Or probation, which is essentially could be the same terms and conditions, just one's before and after a plea or a trial.
Apparently, Dan
are alleged to have violated those. In Michigan, it's only preponderance of the evidence. So you're guilty until you prove yourself innocent. And that's how it kind of works in practice and in reality. With these bond conditions, so he needs to toe the straight and narrow, and hopefully he does. Hopefully he does.
The last time I was on his show, it was.
Oh, Steve, do tell.
Not this midnight show that he does, which I mean, I can't stay up that late, and it kills me when I'm there. So, in the last show I went on, I was like the old Nick. I felt pretty, except for a couple things that I addressed in a Rumble, about an hour and a half long Rumble thing about some
a couple of things.
Logical differences we had. About an hour and a half long Rumble thing about some theological differences we had.
This motherfucker went on a Rekieta'S stream, argued with him about theology, and got so fucking triggered that he went and did an hour and a half stream on Rumble addressing those points. That's not fucking like, come on. And now he's here while Rekieta is like going to jail and being like, guys, we really need to talk about Jesus and God and letting it into your life. And I'm not saying that I was right in that debate, but which one of us is in jail on drug possession and firearm charges? I'm just saying, come on, Steve. You're such a cunt.
Which I felt compelled to respond to. You know, he was the host. I'm not going to abuse him on his own channel, or even it takes me a while. I'm an appellate lawyer. It's like you ask me a question, I'll get you an answer in 3 days, right? Like, but the daytime shows I thought were okay. With it, the ones that I was on and was around, those night shows were a whole different bag. You know, I didn't get along, or I didn't really relate to a lot of those people that he was connected with there. But I didn't really watch it. It wasn't my thing, you know. I mean, Kurt, last time you were on, was that a night show? Was that a midnight show?
Yeah, it was. And the interaction, at least from my vantage point, was odd. And I've, over the course of, let's say, the last 6 months, you know, roughly, some of his behavior has seemed odd. So I don't know what's going on there, but, you know, it seemed like something might be wrong. I talked to him on the phone maybe 2.
You people are fucking lawyers, and you watched a man spiral into drug and alcohol addiction, and you were like, it did seem odd at the time. I feel like I'm watching, like, God, can you imagine if you got someone who's a client, they're like, hey, can I look you up? And they see this fucking stream, and you're like, yeah, seemed strange to me at the time. I wouldn't want you to represent me. This is fucking crazy. God.
2 or 3 months ago and asked him about it, and he said he was fine. And so
he said he was fine, guys. I phoned him.
And like he's a good people person, and so he knows how to say what you want to hear. So whether or
There's
not
a couple of questions in the chat here, and I wanted to address at stardom. Rosamund Rance wants to know why only one charge for endangering a child. Is it how it works, even though they had 5 kids? Well, I don't know how it works in Minnesota. Is the underlying issue? It could be multiple charges.
You want him to bash him? I don't. It's not that I want them to bash him. It's not. It's that. What's a good way to put this? I'm very much of the opinion that if you do something professionally, if something is your job, if you are a lawyer or a doctor or like a fucking police officer or, something that people need to trust in particular, but even just generally, if you like sell insurance or something, but you're the sort of person who's like, that's your career or your marketing, you probably shouldn't go online and make content out of it. And I've had people say to me, well, that's a crazy thing to say, Beckett. That's your area of expertise. Beckett, this is your area of expertise. Why don't you care about why don't you talk about it? Because you open yourself up to all this kind of shit, stuff I'm saying now, where it's like, wow, this looks incredibly unfucking professional. This like especially within your own sector. To do this, and there are certain things where you're like, how people recuse themselves from stuff where it's like there's an ethical conflict, or I don't know if anyone's worked jobs where they're like, you have to declare something where you're like, I might have a bias towards this, or there might be another reason. This is one of those things that you very much should be aware of, and of all the people who should know this, it's fucking lawyers, which is the thing about lawyer YouTube that has always confused the fuck out of me, because, it's so obvious. It's so obvious that this could cause you professional problems. It's not that I want them to bash Nick. It's that I think it's crazy that they're doing it in the first place.
Over the statute, if there were multiple children, maybe only one was home. Maybe it's because of the age. I know there's some age. So it's child under 14 years of age. I don't know how old his kids are. Maybe all of them are older than 14, and so it doesn't apply. I honestly, I just don't know.
Yeah, there's so many moving parts, and we don't have details, and we don't know. And a lot of times,
then why are you theory crafting about it in front of thousands of people, Steve?
And usually it's a practicality thing from a prosecutor's side. They're objective, at least a good prosecutor's office.
Again, for those joining that did not see me say this earlier, this was literally the problem that popularized this form of content. It was the Rittenhouse case, where with incomplete facts and evidence, multiple content creators went and talked about it, and presented a narrative to the public, which tarnished how they saw things unfold. So when it came to the actual fucking case, people were really surprised, particularly the fucking leftists, where they were like, but he crossed state lines and he had a rifle. But he murdered somebody, because they'd been fed this narrative for a year. And then the lawyer YouTube got popular because there was somebody there who was professional, who'd gone through the facts, could do the breakdown of the case, knew what they were talking about. And that was an effective way to present that. When you're doing this as content, and this is presented as content, these people are practicing lawyers, I believe, anyway, for a few of them. I mean, they keep talking about the fact that Steve's well, I'll be a prosecutor soon, that kind of shit. You are impacting how people are going to see you and your profession. And again, from the perspective of sitting there and saying, well, we need to think about the good things, the morals. Everyone's got their demons. There is a ghoulishness aspect to all kind of commentary content, because you're talking about people's lives falling apart. Now, if you're doing that while talking about goodness and finding God, I think you've missed a trick, honestly. I don't think all of them actively practice. Yeah, sure. Like, but at the same time, they're still presenting themselves with their credentials. For those who don't know me as well, I have a big thing about this with presenting your credentials. I also think it's one of those things you are opening yourself up to all kinds of scrutiny. I spent time in the Twitch poll space and like arguing politics and all that shit, and people would be like, well, I know what I'm talking about because I've got a degree, so shut the fuck up. And it's like, okay, I have a degree, I have a master's, but that doesn't mean I'm right. It means that I have been educated in a way that I should be able to convince you through my arguments and the evidence I can present because of that education. The piece of paper is almost irrelevant to a debate. If I can't do that, if I can't persuade you on a topic that I'm meant to have some sort of expertise in or like a knowledge, then my degree has failed me, because the point isn't to have a piece of paper to give me authority, it's that I know what the fuck I'm talking about. That's kind of like where I come from with this. It's just like it doesn't matter. Yeah, I hate fucking arguments from authority.
A good prosecutor's office will see this person has a drug problem, his family has this problem, and the objective is to create such
Have Matt review the body cam footage.
Weight over
Jesus
somebody's
Christ.
head that it will wake them up to reality and they will quit cold turkey and they'll get out of the system. Of course, prosecutors can also look at this as some game in which they've got a big high-profile person, they can make a name, and all of a sudden no deals are off and we're asking for things. I mean,
what you mean, like the same things that potentially happened during the Rittenhouse case? That was one of the accusations. Again, fuck, it feels like this weird fucking loop that we're in.
No, this is the problem. Get involved with the criminal justice system is that you are putting your life in the hands of third parties who you don't know what their motivation.
I do think you should all return to the Empire. That is true, Shadow.
Don't empower the courts. Same thing with civil courts. Stay away from the court system because you're giving up freedom to third parties that you don't have any control over.
Right. Another question here was, does he have to test negative prior to being released from jail? No. And if he does test positive, the court will usually allow a grace period for it to get out of your system as well. So they would expect him to test. If they say like, hey, you got to test as soon as you get out, they would expect it to, if they suspect him of using, to test positive or dirty for a couple of days, and then the levels to gradually get lower and then go away and never go up again. That's what the courts or the probation department is going to expect.
Hey guys, I'm going to sign out.
All right, take care.
Hi Andrew, I'm sure that you'll leave quietly without, I don't know.
Thanks for having me on. I
Thanks very
appreciate
much
it.
for jumping in.
And let's hope things turn for the better.
Yeah, I'm going to put your link in the chat, by the way, just so everyone has it. If you guys don't know Law of Self-Defense, you guys got to go check out Andrew, his YouTube channel, and he's got a book, just like Gosney.
Hey guys, our friend's going to prison for drug and firearm possession charges. By the way, Andrew wrote a book. You should check his channel out. Fucking come on.
Steve has it.
He's literally, Steve literally has the book next to him. Come on. Does this not seem like a fucking satire to you? Guys, look at yourselves.
All right, take care, guys. Have a good Memorial Day weekend.
You too.
Yeah, it's the irony of grifting off of Nick's problems. I gotta say that if it's an odd.
Oh fuck! I forgot Steve said this. That's amazing. Ellington, thank you. Good afternoon, good evening. Thank you for the 5. Please, Becca, I need a return the slab or suffer my curse edit of Chrischan now.
Have a good Memorial Day weekend.
You too.
Yeah, it's the irony of grifting off of Nick's problems. I gotta say that if
that's a moment of self-reflection. Listen, it's not just me saying this; they fucking know it.
This is a very strange thing.
Yeah, it is, and so I had invited Valhalla on, and he's like, I don't know if I want to come on. He's like, because it's Nick, and I said, I texted him. I said, what would Nick do? Like Nick.
Yeah, well, this is what
stream
exactly.
this.
That's what.
Yes, and where has that gotten Nick? You know.
I was thinking. I mean, in some ways, I think that there's the chief of tomfoolery that would be greatly entertained by the fact that he's the sub. But on the other hand, it's such a tragedy. I mean, this is just terrible. It's terrible for a human being that we respect and we've looked up to and we have interacted with and liked and had a lot of positive experiences and has given us a lot. So there's sort of this cross.
Thanks for making us, Nick. Thanks for growing us. Thanks for creating a content where, like, bracket where we can promote ourselves. Now get on your fucking knees, Nick. It's time that we feed. God, it's so ghoulish. I love it. Do you know what? Unironically, it's horrific, but I'm kind of impressed.
Current of motivations is confusing and difficult. I don't know how you guys are feeling, but I'm.
Nick's just sat there. Like, why would you do this to me? We learned it from watching you.
My whole channel has always been geared towards trying to educate people and sort of making law simple was kind of the idea, right? So I'm bringing this not to dump on Nick or not to praise Nick, but this is someone that at least 4,000 of you guys are interested in, and
you're bringing this because it is content. That's why I'm doing it. Because it is content, because it's Nick Rekieta. Just be honest about it. I hate this whole thing of like, I'm here to I wanted to educate people. Again, annoyed me in the politics sphere when people did this. I wanted to start panels to get to the root of questions. I started doing panels because I wanted to do it properly and wanted to make sure that we were educating each other and getting to the heart of issues. And by the way, have you seen my dog fucker panel or my debate on the N-word or any of this other fucking shit? Oh well, why don't we debate pedophilia? It's like, motherfuckers, just be honest about what we are. Just be honest about what all of us fucking are. We're monsters. It's fine. Embrace it.
I feel like it's important for us to look at all these cases that they come across, even when it's someone that we either love or hate, right? So that's how
and
I
Nick had
feel.
to be
It's
sacrificed.
horrible,
True.
but it's not the end of Nick.
Well, it could be.
Winning people over. Like and subscribe.
And this is somebody. There's a point, and this is the danger. And doing criminal law, it's sad because it's like patterns. It's patterns of human behavior, patterns of human degradation and weakness. We are all flawed. We're all weak. We are all imperfect. There is something about you. Everybody that's in this chat and everybody that's listening, there's something about you that if you were giving millions of dollars and unlimited freedom, that you would dwell down. If you didn't protect yourself and weren't conscious, you would dwell down and go all the way, right? Now, what happens is
Steve, if I had infinite money and I could do whatever I wanted, I would recolonize America and I would put you in stocks. Pay your taxes, rejoin the empire. Shut the fuck up, Yankoid.
Hopefully, there is something, a bottom, that something is more important than a drug or whatever your vice is. And that thing will bounce. So it might be your family. It might be, I don't know what those things are, but there's something that, this drug or this thing is not
Willikers.
All right. Now, some people don't have that. Some people, the drug lies to them and it tells them, and it's the only thing that matters. And I'll tell you, cocaine is the most dangerous of all because I've seen, oh my God, what kind of destruction and murders occurring because of that. It's like how far you can go. If there's no floor, it's up to the individual, but that's why you need faith. You need to have something higher. That's the only way out because it's the only thing that brings you above that, or stay away from just cold turkey. No more. Stop. Change your life, right? But what takes that? We create ourselves by habit. And if you're habitually doing something, that becomes you. What force is out there that can change who you are in such a fundamental way? especially when all the your own brain is lying to you.
All right, I gotta
Jen has a question
head
for
out.
you, Kurt.
Oh, I'll answer this, I suppose. Does he have income sources other than streaming? Well, I know he had a Rumble deal for a while, and I think he recently re-signed that. I don't know if he has income streams beyond that. But then again, he's done well for himself, so he might have cash on hand.
He might. He might. Well, he's going to need at least 10,000. So hopefully he has at least that.
All right, I'm going to sign up for now.
All right. By the way, I put a link to your channel in the description, so anyone can go check out Uncivil Law if you guys don't know Uncivil.
Nick, if you ever see this, I just want to let you know. At least I'm rooting for you, and I hope that whatever happens, that you and your family will be well. And if I can be an ear to you at all, you know where to find me. So
I will say this for Uncivil Law: of all the people who jump on this fucking stream and start talking about shit, Uncivil Law is probably the most sensible person there, and I think he is upset for what's happened to his friend. That's the way he genuinely comes across. Don't know huge amounts about the guy, but yeah. It is just fucking, this stream gets worse when he leaves. We're gonna watch bits of that, and then, yeah, fucking.
I'm pulling for you, buddy. Hope it works out.
All right, take care, Kurt. Thanks for being here. And will Nick lose his license to practice? Probably not. If it not permanently. Most bar associations are used to dealing with attorneys with drug problems and alcohol problems, and there's usually a system in place to help and assist them. And
Steve is sat there like, this is my show now. This is my show. Finally, I'm the last panel man on the left. People will have to listen to me.
And again, as long as you're not affecting your clients, the state bar usually sort of kind of just works with you and helps you. So I would imagine, though, that this is going to be something he's going to have to report because he's charged with a felony. So most likely it's going to be a mandatory report that he's going to have to file with the state bar, assuming they don't know about it incidentally. But other than that, probably not. I would say likely not.
There are, it's not like not everything is losing a license. You can have sanctions, you can have suspensions, you can have, deferred prosecution agreements through the bar, for example, complete drug, rehab, or go through a bar program or something like that.
Oh my fucking god! Shut up. Okay, so we're gonna jump through some bits and bobs quickly. Firstly, we'll start with some highlights. This person joins MG Law. I really didn't pay much attention to MG Law. Actually, we'll hear his entrance and give some takes. I think Steve is talking about. Well, we'll get to that.
It's what is that is taken from us that is tragedy. Yeah, MG Law. We had a nice conversation.
Yeah, we had a very good conversation.
My son just lost a very.
Okay, here we go. So we are 1 hour and 46 minutes into this stream. And we're talking about, like, the things that Nick is going through. Steve takes us on a fucking wild ride, frankly. I don't know what possessed this man to have this conversation. It's gonna come up twice. And I was like, I didn't think this could get any weirder. I don't think this stream could get any more of a fucking train wreck. But Steve does not disappoint.
Tragedies and levels of tragedies, right? My son just lost a very close friend to a car accident. He was riding a bicycle, and his friend Jew.
Does this seem like the forum for this? And also listen to this guy's. Listen to how he refers to this kid.
To a car accident. He was riding a bicycle, and his friend Jew Jacob is what we called him.
His friend Jew Jacob. Steve, are you good, bro?
Because he has two Jacob friends. The other was Miami Jacob, and he was a brilliant kid and one of my son's closest friends, and was killed on riding his bicycle up in Purdue. And it's just, that hurts me so much because the kid he was 20 years old, had so much potential, spent time at our home and took him out to dinner. And so, yes, I understand. Like, it's the life that could be. It's what is that is taken from us, that is tragedy. Yeah, MG Law, we had a nice conversation.
We had a very good conversation last night.
Yeah. Thank you for
one of the other things that keeps happening on this, like, and you saw the book shilling, but also like Steve does this thing where he talks about other people's streams and stuff. You know, when have you ever seen this with podcasters? Oh yeah, I was on this podcast with this person. It was an excellent podcast. You know, this really informative podcast this person does. There's a real fucking meme to this shit.
Wow, me on it. I don't know. I'm so torn up about this because that's like,
yeah.
I mean, what's the appropriate response of us people? Because it's such a weird thing, this internet medium, right? It's like, do we know this person? Is he a friend? How, you spend a lot of time with him. You've admired, you've had interactions, and maybe, don't always agree.
Imagine joining to this. MG Law's just sat there like, yeah, okay, well, this is
talking publicly about these.
This is odd.
On one hand, there's legal analysis, which MLS did a good job on, and we are all professionals. On the other hand, it's kind of somebody we know. It's like, this is odd.
Yeah. So this is being purported through Kiwi Farms as a portion of the police report. I don't know how, take it with a grain of salt, right? It came through Kiwi Farms. But 3 baggies that field tested positive for cocaine and weighed 5.
I don't know if this is accurate. I've got no idea. But I don't know if, again, you're lawyers. You're like, hey guys, we've got some like breaking news coming in from fucking Kiwi Farms. Look, everyone uses the farms, but it's just, again, really fucking surreal. Like, it's so weird.
5.49 grams with packaging, 8 green colored tablets that field tested positive for ketamine. Digital scale that field tested positive for cocaine, metal pan with white powder on it tested positive for cocaine, 2 snorting tubes, 2 metal cutters. The following items were located in a safe in the master bedroom: $100 bill with white powdery residue, field tested positive for cocaine, white baggie with white powder substance, cocaine scooper, 2 bags with baggie with a funnel, unknown brown substance. Additional firearms and ammunition were located in the garage. The total amount of measurable cocaine in the master bedroom was 26.67 grams with packaging. Cocaine is a Schedule II controlled substance. Ketamine is a Schedule I controlled substance. Detective Pumlin met with Nicholas Rekieta outside the residence.
Hold on. Just keep my eye on Twitter, and something got posted. I think it's a clip from the farms, but I don't know what it is, and I'm kind of interested just looking at the comments.
About the Kiwi Farms, I said I would defend it forever, and I still do, by the way. Even though they say the most horrific shit about me, the most horrific shit about my wife, they say the most horrific shit about my family, they flat out fucking lie. They say I commit literal crimes. They say I abuse my children and my family. They say I beat my family, Sean.
I know, I've seen those.
I know you do. I know you know, because you kind of laugh about it sometimes. I've defended everything.
Shit. That's 3 months ago, apparently 6 months ago. This is such a weird fucking arc.
He was read his Miranda rights, and he agreed to speak with Alpha.
Right, moving on.
Can you attack the warrant? And then there's a construction.
So this is interesting. Steve is going to theorycraft for us. Can't wait.
Murph's Turf in the chat. She posted that and sent me a link.
Well, here's my defense attorney brain. See, this is weird to do legal analysis on this kind of thing, but
then maybe you shouldn't be doing it, Steve.
Searching the house. What is the basis for that? Was there probable cause? Is there a warrant? Can you attack the warrant? And then there's a constructive possession question, which is like you said, he's talking to the police. He says, that's my master bedroom. Now, to me, I would suspect that the April person is going to put them with knowledge of the presence of the cocaine, because if you don't have knowledge of the cocaine within your sphere, so possession and control, constructive possession is quite a complex concept. So the prosecutor needs to link the drugs into the actual person. So they're in the master bedroom. That's his master bedroom. And therefore he has constructive control along with his wife of that master bedroom closet. But can you really, you have fingerprints on baggies, on use of items. There's an assumption, there's rebuttable presumptions. But if you get the April person to say they were going to the closet and getting it, now that establishes a direct connection. So there's constructive possession questions. So these are legal attacks, but usually they're losers in this type of thing. But
and that might be why April was released and not ultimately charged and brought to court for an arraignment. If what is being reported, she's just a guess, well, then it's hard to get constructive possession over.
Again, why are you theory crafting this shit? What is wrong with you all?
Unless you have.
Oh, it's content. Yeah, no, I've been over this.
That the guest brought it, something like that.
Oh my god.
MG, something I've been asking everyone. What are your thoughts on Nick representing his co-defendant / Mr. Rackett?
He wasn't with her today, but him for this was probably okay, but he can't represent. There's obviously a clear conflict of interest that's present, so I don't think he can represent her going forward.
That's my thought. It was like, if it was going to be anything, it was going to be a short 15-minute conversation facilitated by the jail facility, and then it was just she's gonna have to get her own counsel. Was she released or arraigned earlier? So my understanding is, at least according to the court clerk that was speaking, it sounds like she was released, not arraigned earlier.
Yeah.
But I don't know that to be. It's just the way it sounded. It's like she wasn't actually brought to the court for an arraignment. She was released. And so it is no longer being held, I think is how it was phrased. I'd have to go back and take a listen again. But yeah, so that's a problem for Nick. We often, as defense attorney,
want to help, and they're
okay. We're joined by Good Logic. And now, my understanding is, and I'm going to say this ahead of time, is I remember seeing Good Logic around. My understanding is that he's slightly a bigger name in the fucking law commentary community thing. Because I've seen it, again, just in my impression, people can correct me. But I think it's interesting here how Steve approaches this. And if anyone sat there like, wow, Becca, this has become a real Steve stream. Yes, it has. And that's not because of me, it's because of fucking Steve.
The system may be wanting to help, but ultimately that system's a meat grinder. You have to honor yourself. You have to love your family and your life enough to prevent yourself from jumping into the meat grinder, because the system, if he violates and he continues to do it and he does this and he gets caught again, they don't care. Their job is to grind you up into little tiny pieces. So, you have to love yourself, love God greater than yourself.
Oh my God, Steve.
Have faith. And he is a man who had faith. I had to do a rebuttal stream last time I was on because he was making statements that to me were contrary to the fundamental precepts of Christianity. But that drug will lie to you. Drugs will lie to you and give you false. It's lies. And part of that is denial of your faith and denial of those fundamental things. So that's the answer. That's the light that needs to be followed. The state doing what it's going to do, it just recognize it for the evil machine that it is, and it's going to happen. But it's empowerment. You want to empower that machine, keep doing this stuff, and the machine will be empowered.
Steve just wants to preach. Steve, this isn't the time or place.
Hey, Joe.
Hey. How you guys doing?
Came in the middle of a Ghazni rant.
No, that's good. Ghazni rants are awesome.
Joe rants are even better.
Hey, buddy, I love you. I love your stuff. You're so good.
What did you think of that whole legal issue with respect to him being able to counsel her before her arraignment?
My gut instinct is what the judge's gut instinct is I think that's an unwaverable conflict. Because one of the fundamental things as an attorney is you can never put your own interest above that of a client. And because he's a co-defendant and because his interests are diametrically opposed to his other co-defendants. There's no way around that because no one is in the exact situation that the other defendant is in. That he would be immediately conflicted out because he would be essentially potentially placing himself in putting himself in a better position than his client, and you cannot do that. And that's unwaverable.
Yeah, I agree with you. I don't think it's waivable, but for purposes of this arraignment, I think this was the right call. Like allowing him to say that this is just an arraignment hearing at this stage. That perhaps there's no way if this were to go to trial and they don't plead out, there's obviously you're correct. There's no way that a lawyer can represent himself and a client at the same time, whether it's a wife or someone else, because the obvious inherent conflicts that frequently.
Almost forgot they were talking about Nick.
At each other in order to be exonerated, and how would a client point at her own attorney? It just doesn't. It wouldn't work. So, and we would assume that he may fail to present the option to her because of his own self-interest. So it's just there's no way that can operate. So, but I do think he made the right call because, as far as not making a legal determination about whether or not it's waivable. So he enabled her essentially to try to waive it for purposes of this arraignment, and that's how I was interpreting what he was doing there. And I thought he was very respectful. The judge, I thought he would try being fair, and I don't think.
Yeah. What about the judge that's apparently assigned to the criminal case that Nick called a bitch? Like. I that's what I've heard. I don't know if that's accurate. I know that he was shit talking her, but
that Nick should have. I'm sure Nick would probably looked at it as he did it. He handled his job correctly. That's what I would think how he would read what this judge did, and allowing her to, at least waive it for purposes of arraignment and talk to someone that she knows and obviously trusts and loves, and gets their professional guidance. But that for going forward, when it comes to actually trying to defend herself from these charges, that she would likely need alternative counsel. I do think that the $100,000 bail combined between them it's kind of high. I mean, I thought that was kind of, if it was 15 and 30 total, okay, that I understand. $100,000 is that's a lot of money on a bond for a guy who's got.
It's kind of high.
He's not really a flight risk.
Right.
I mean, everyone knows who he is and where he is, and it's possible that that's a little bit high. So,
couple things too. Is one is they keep calling this arraignment. To me, this is called a first appearance, which is a review for probable cause and a setting of bond. Arraignment is when he's formally charged by the prosecutor's office with an information or piece of paper listing charges. And so that,
I will say this, and that might be because I know what's coming because I've watched this already, but isn't it nice that, the lawyer YouTube, sure, it's content, but they're really talking about the case. They're going through what's going on. They're giving that breakdown. That's what the audience expects. These are professional people who understand the intricacies of the systems they're dealing with. Isn't that nice? Wouldn't it be a shame if somebody, I don't know, derailed it horrifically and traumatically? That would be fucking crazy.
And then you plead guilty or not guilty.
That was a Rule 5 apparently in Minnesota, and he waived that and set it for the next hearing.
No. I respectfully disagree.
He waived reading the charges today.
They each waived reading the charges, which was a wise move on a social media level. He's like, why the hell do I need millions of people hearing the judge reading off my charges to me? I can read the damn paper myself. And the judge said that he combined them. That normally they're two different. He made this more explicit when Kayla was up there, from my understanding, that normally those two are two different appearances, and that they both decided to combine them into one. So this did end up being an arraignment.
Pronouncing there was no not guilty plea.
Well, that's true.
It was simply a bond hearing. So to me, this is what I would define as a first appearance. Even though the judge called it arraignment, there's no information. The state.
Yeah. Fucking hate these people. I'd call it a first appearance. I know the judge, you know, whose courtroom it is, called it an arraignment, and, you know, it's an arraignment. Everyone's calling it an arraignment, and I'm not a Minnesota lawyer, but I'd call it a first appearance. Fuck off.
State attorney's office or what the prosecutors have not filed formal charges, and he has not pled not guilty yet. So it's basically he has been taken into custody. They set bond and bond conditions and reviewed for probable cause. That's the first appearance.
Yeah, it's a first appearance, but they call
Right.
it.
So there's an article here from Fox 9, local affiliate. It's talking about this. So it says, according to the charges, law enforcement attempted to execute a search warrant on May 23rd.
Oh fuck, we're gonna go ahead actually.
It's going to turn that over.
Okay, I know that I'm skipping the Fox article. I will probably go over it on Sunday anyway. And I want you to hear me read, and also I'm fucking losing my shit.
You'll examine the warrant for sufficiency. There's a lot of doesn't look good. At least a little to say. I will also. Can I?
Does he have a black eye? I mean, here, let me pull it up. Is this a black eye?
Hey guys, what do you think? Do you think our friend has a black ie? I don't really think. Let's just pull a picture of like the fucking thumbnail. You know, let's have a look. Let's have a you know. Let's have a little look. See, does he look like he's been beaten to you? Jesus fucking Christ!
I don't see a black eye.
It's right.
The shadow.
Yeah, his right eye.
By his nose. The shadow by his nose looks like a black eye. To a lot of people.
There's another picture that it does look like he has a black eye.
He's got to be careful representing his wife going forward too, because you talk about bar consequences. Having these kind of conflicts can also generate bar problems. You know, going in and representing a co-defendant. I mean, that's that.
I expect she'll get alternative counsel.
I imagine so too.
I don't think they'd even let. I don't think they'd let her waive that. I don't.
Judges can be wrong. Yeah, sure. I'm not disagreeing. I just think it's a really weird thing to like harp on about. You know. I think part of the problem is as well. They're all they're all operating on like bits of knowledge and debating it over something that is not your normal case. Basically, that's kind of where I'm coming from, because I don't fucking know, because once again, I'm not a fucking lawyer.
See how you let her waive that. I mean, from a philosophical legal perspective, I don't see how you let her waive that.
I don't think she can.
Yeah, I'll tell you this much. I don't know if you guys noticed, but you know, a lot of people were speculating that he was in the Monday stream, where he obviously looked terrible. That he was engaging in lewd behavior online. I think because of the jerking of his arm, he had the same jerking of his arm in prison.
That's some kind of tremor. It could be a tremor.
That's my point. That's my point. Is I think they said that it was less pronounced today, but I
dancing by nature. Sure.
That's fair. You'll notice it again. I
can't hate people too much on pen and tray. It'd be a bit hypocritical.
Engaging in lewd behavior, but that it was likely the same tremors that we saw today is what we all saw on Monday. In the sense that sort of almost cleared that up for anyone who was trying to.
Well, and regardless, it's basically we're just seeing bad effects of something, right?
Well, that's my point is that I don't think it was like he was. I think a lot of people were trying to basically try to embarrass him by claiming that he was engaging in lewd behavior, and I think that what we saw today actually helps, you know, exonerate that claim from having legitimacy, because he still seems to have that tremor in his arm today.
He still has a tremor in his arm. So it wasn't lewd behavior. I don't think he was jacking off. Do I think that Rekieta was getting a blowjob under the table? I think it's possible. I think the whole kind of like, oh, why are you doing that now? He could be talking to his arm. He could be talking to his fucking dick getting sucked. Who fucking knows? But guys, come on. Either way, he's fucked up. I don't know. I don't know why I don't know what the point of sweeping for this is.
So,
Yeah, I'm going back and looking and just to see if I see it. I didn't really notice it, but I wasn't really looking for it either. So it might be just a nervous tick.
Anyway, so
I was telling Joe, I don't know if you heard, I had a and I'd like a little guy. This is all.
Now, this is the worst part of this stream. Unequivocally, this is so fucking weird. So unbelievably strange.
This is amazing what we do on public streams, you know?
You're saying this before you do it. You're clearly self-reflecting, and you're like, yeah, I'm still gonna do it. Steve, this is so weird.
But one of my son's closest friends passed away.
There's no attorney-client privilege.
He's bringing it back up. Why?
He was, we call him Jew Jacob.
Why would you say it like that?
Two very close friends, Jew Jacob and Miami
Oh,
Jacob.
God.
And Jew Jacob was in Purdue. He's 20 years old and was killed riding his bicycle. And one of the most beautiful people. Such a great kid.
I'm sorry. You.
And I wanted to reach out to you for some guidance based on the Jewish tradition.
I'll tell you.
I have covered a lot of stuff in ArtCom and other spaces where you get someone who trauma dumps at the weirdest fucking time. I never thought I'd be covering a stream about Nick Rekieta being arraigned for like drug possession and firearm possession and endangering children, where somebody is asking someone else, hey, can you give me guidance on the Jewish tradition of how to honor my son's dead friend because he was Jewish? I fucking what? Am I being pranked? This is insane.
When I was
These aren't teenagers. These are adult men doing this. Holy fuck. You could not waterboard this out of me. Holy fucking shit.
I'll just share with you that when I was 20 or 21, so a second cousin of mine.
You can see God of Lords cogs turning.
Car accident. And so in Jewish tradition, the parents and family sit shiva, which they sit in mourning for a week, and people come and visit them,
right,
and try and console them. And so I went to visit his parents, and I couldn't even
insane
understand
it just like very sad,
the levels,
but insane
that was on. I was in awe, where he basically was saying, he was talking about how his child was a gift from God, and that not every gift from God is going to be there for the rest of your life, and that he was like grateful to God for giving him an 18-year gift. And looking at it from that perspective, I was just like, I couldn't even understand how a parent so quickly could take such a healthy attitude towards embracing it. I was in awe of this man, that at a time when most people would be
vital. That's an interesting point. I think these people have allowed this to turn into an intimate conversation and forgot they are live. Happens a lot, actually. Sorry, I feel like I'm picking on you, and I'm not. I just think I think the points are interesting. So yeah, like sure, there are like so many elements where you've got like streamers talking shop or talking about their lives or all these other things. Part of being, especially in front of like, you need to get over that and get away from it. It's like I've had situations myself where somebody has made a joke about my mum, and the chat has turned and been like, his mum's dead though, right? Like, that's like Beckett Law 101. His mum's dead. And I'm like, yeah, sure, but again, I'm never sad about it. Obviously I'm sad about it, but I'm like, it doesn't matter. It's fine. Shit happens. It's not like this forum for like that kind of intimate conversation. And it's one of those things you learn to get over really fucking quickly, because it's very difficult to have these kind of personal fucking conversations without looking insane. This is a stream that's already fucking crazy, and they're like, yeah, this is the perfect fucking time. And it's one of those, you can see actually, like, God of Law, you can see he actually knows. His cogs are turning in his head. When do I interrupt this? When do I stop this? This is not good. Because also, you should stop people doing this to themselves. Because like, if Steve becomes like a content creator, in inverted commas, in that fucking cringy title, this is the sort of thing that if he gets into drama with somebody, someone will be like, hey, remember that Rekieta stream where you brought up Jew Jacob? Like, this is like a prime thing to fuck. He nearly he tears up on stream. Like, you shouldn't let someone do this. It's not fucking good for them. Assholes like me will laugh at you.
Cursing God. Like, he was using it as an opportunity to thank God for giving him that gift for 18 years. And
you can become vital to it.
We don't know. We don't know why this happens or that happens, you know.
Well,
listen, I get one man occasionally. It's fun. I like it.
I mean, like it. Like this frivolity that we're dealing with here, this stupidity of, life is so precious. Life is a gift from God. And, it's like somebody was talking about tragedy. And, there's different levels of tragedy, right? And to me, I can't think of any greater tragedy. An only child, a beautiful kid. He spent...
I want to hear more about Miami, Jacob, not gonna lie.
I understand.
Again, yeah, it is personal. And this is my point with how weird all of this is. All of this is personal to all of them because of it's covering... They're covering a legal case like it's an everyday legal case, but in some ways that for this content brand, Rekieta going through this is one of the biggest legal analysis things you can do as content because of the meta factor. It's and some of them are going to be aware of that. That's why they're phoning in, because they're like, I need to be on the ground floor of this. The minute I saw this happening, again, content brain. The minute I saw this happening, I was like, better start prepping the thumbnail. Like, I know what this is gonna be.
Okay. You don't have to apologize.
I was thinking about you because he was such a good kid. He was so smart, so much future. Touched so many people. And it's kind of like,
what the fuck did I walk in on? That was my feeling.
And he was a very faithful Jewish kid. He really honored his faith.
Yeah.
And I really, we had so many. I don't know. It's really torn up.
I beat that.
I guess his parents. We had an only child who's and this was an only child.
Well, Steve has achieved one thing. I personally, after listening to him, would like to go and meet God now. I'm good. I'm done. I'm fucking out. Okay, was there anything else I wanted to show? Let's stop listening to Stop Story. Okay, we'll get to, actually, where is it?
It's a Nicholas Rekieta. That man is going, I am so confident.
And it's kind of like,
where is that?
So we have an
on in your life.
Hard.
Okay.
No, I understand.
And whatever is going on in your life, things can always be so much worse. It's kind of
yes.
And that's why I look at this situation that we're all looking at with Nick. And
I just wanted to highlight this as possibly one of the best pivots I've seen in fucking ages. I will give a lot of shit to God of Law and the rest of them, but that was a beautiful fucking pivot out of what was incredibly fucking awkward content. Okay, cool. Give me a sec. So they all do their thing. They chatty. Where is it? The last thing they bring up is this tweet from Ralph, which I think is kind of interesting, actually. Big breaking news. Charges have been dropped against April in the Nick Rekieta case. My charges were dropped. I'm not an addict. Someone else did this to me, which is a very interesting statement. Apparently, this was like, actually, I think it was DM'd. So, yeah, then they just sit around and circle jerk about doing the meta content thing. Fuck, I hate doing that enough. With stories like this, there is like an element where you sort of end up talking about content creation itself and all the really fucking cringe shit. I personally think it is very cringe. I don't want anyone to get the impression that I think being cool on the internet is cool. It's not. We're all fucking nuts. Steve is giving me the shift. He is like those people who shove pamphlets in your face and won't take no for an answer. Yeah. Okay. Listen, this was only meant to be a short stream. It's already been 3 hours. That's short-ish, I suppose. Fucking hell. So it has been confirmed that Nick's pastor reported. Okay, yeah. I mean, that makes sense. That makes sense. Let's not kid ourselves. Let me just mute that a second. What are people doing currently? What the fuck are you looking at? Okay. Sorry, I'm just looking at who to send you to. Who do I want to send you all to finish stuff up? I don't. Okay, so I said, hey, Joe, thank you for the 10 gifted. Fucking hell. 07 in chat, much appreciated. Yeah, everyone's been really generous tonight. I appreciate that. Like and subscribe, or alternatively, dislike the stream and call me a slur because I hate this shilling shit. But if I don't do it, Jenny gets mad at me. So, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. We try and put everything back into the channel as well. To like try and make things better with like better stuff. I don't fucking know. I did say I'd do a Saturday stream. I might, but it's increasingly unlikely. It's more likely I'll take tomorrow off and do Sunday. And do more things about that. I am probably going to send you over to Reservoir, I think. Maybe Rezi? He's live. Rezi's live. That seems like a solid place. No slurs, but here's some money. Thank you for the 5. Yeah, I will do more stuff. You can one thing I will plug is this, but there's a reason. Haha, bear with me. You can find me at Beckett of Crabs on Twitter. There is a Copenhagen Twitter, but I don't check it all the time. If you have stuff that you're like, hey, Beckett, you're covering Rekieta, you should see this, you should be aware of this, please do send it my way. My DMs are open for that kind of stuff. So yeah, and also just, yeah, follow me on Twitter and things, because I kind of want to do more on this. It's been a bit of time coming. I've had fun doing this, and if this keeps developing this way, fuck, maybe, it worked out for Rekieta. Maybe this is the thing. No, I'm kidding. But I will do more. I want to do more on this. It's been really enjoyable. I've kind of been waiting for something else to look at for a little while that's kind of caught my attention. It's very much this. I'm going to send you over to Reservoir if you don't know Rezi. Rezi's a lot of fun. So hopefully, I think he's talking about this as well, which should be really interesting. Thank you all for hanging out. I'm going to fuck off now and get something to eat and play Dungeons and Dragons like a fucking nerd. Right, yeah, peace.